In 2011 he was the all-star goalkeeper, and Gary Maguire continues to make outstanding saves between the posts. Peter Kelly's reputation as a fullback continues to grow with every outing, although he's considerably helped by his two cornermen, Niall Corcoran and Paul Schutte. A key figure undoubtedly today will be centre-back Liam Rush. Can he dominate at 6, or will Cork tactically do something to dilute his influence? Team captain Johnny McCaffrey and the Fianna's Joey Boland have formed a very strong centre-field partnership, but will be well tested today. While Ryan O'Dwyer and Danny Sutcliffe are two good hurlers, the man to really watch is wing forward Conal Keaney. His performance and influence will be crucial. He scored 2-7 against Galway, and if he hits form again, then Paul Ryan could ask serious questions of the Cork full back line. As always, he'll have massive support from Dotsy O'Callaghan and David Tracy. The Cork team have yet to score a goal in the championship, but they haven't conceded a goal either. Most credit for that has to go to goalkeeper Anthony Nash, who's been outstanding. Shane O'Neill is the main man in the full back line, but Conor O'Sullivan has blossomed in the corner with every match. The Piershik's Christopher Joyce may be the quiet man on the team, but his hurling has been solid and assertive at centre back. Lorcan McLaughlin and Daniel Carney's performances have been vital in getting Cork to this All-Ireland semi-final. Interestingly, Jamie Collin is named at centre forward, but will he play there, or will team captain Patrick Cronin move in to mark Liam Rush? He scored 23 points so far in the championship, 11 against Kilkenny, so Glen Rovers' Patrick Horgan is a major threat to Dublin at the edge of the square. James Owens from County Wexford is the referee. Throw-in time is 3:30. Michael.
It is, Marty. Jerry, you can look at individuals on a team and their importance and key players and key battles around the team. But at the end of the day, I suppose, it's how you stitch it all together as a team that's more important. Dublin this year, what do you reckon?
Well, that's the secret, you know, and especially when it comes to the big games, these are some of the qualities you needed. The first one I was thinking during the week is composure. Now look at this in the early stages of the Leinster final. Ball across his own square for Kelly, from Corcoran out to Joey Boland, and then they can try the long ball as well. Now when you see a team doing this kind of hurling, you know that they have confidence. It shows everybody this is a confident team when they'll make moves like that. So that's the number one thing. Now, an underestimated quality is thinking on your feet at present time. Now look at the Galway fellas there asleep. They saw they were asleep, pass back to high-need wing back to McCaffrey, all over the bar. Fast thinking. Of course, crucial nowadays is ability to win ball in the air. I mean, we've talked about Conal Keaney in this. Look at this, and leading to the goal. But look at the turn of Paul Ryan as well. You know, that's a brilliant skill that Ryan has. Now, I suppose the most crucial thing of all today is that the Dublin backs put savage pressure on the Cork. The Dublin forwards put savage pressure on the Cork back, because the Cork backs were allowed to do what they like against Kilkenny. Now look at this, an almost frenzied assault on Galway. And when Smith gets the ball here and clears it, he's hooked again. He comes out to Ryan of the wire, goes past his man. Turnover ball is going to be vital, and they must turn over ball on that Cork half back line. Now the last part here, the three men here, Rush, Keaney, and you'll see Dotsy in a minute. Ball into Dotsy. Now, what aspect there? Leaders. They're going to have those leaders. Those are three crucial leaders for Dublin. So when you take this recipe, I would say today is composure, fast thinking, ability to win ball in the air, aggression in the tackle, and the leader standing up. They will be in the mix for Dublin. If all those come, if they can do those as well as they did in the Leinster final, then they have a massive chance of winning this game.
Massive chance of winning it. They also have to watch out, I suppose, Cyril, today for those long-range points that Cork are well able to get, and there's nothing you can do about that if a fella's pucking the ball from out the field.
Yeah, well, like the Cork half-backlines in midfield, they'll come deep. Now, this is Park Road in here. These boys will go all over the pitch and they let the ball do the work. Again, now, they'll tap, they usually won't catch with their little tap over, but when it breaks here, Carney McLaughlin come through from midfield, pass back over the bar again. They'll tap it over. They're not scoring goals, but they are very quick from outside. The two boys midfield, McLaughlin and Carney, cover an amount of ground. Here again, little flick here, like, you know, look at they're beautiful hurlers, 45, 50 yards out, risky work over the bar. They don't actually break a tackle, let the ball go in time, like, they draw the tackle head off of them. They'll try not to hint at the physical contact because they are very fast kind of ball players. Dublin will try to mix it with them. But if Cork get their little game going, like here again, now look at the block down here. The minute they block it down, we'll look up, has a little squint and bang over the bars. Here comes he, Cronin is on his own. Like, they're not trying to run through for goals, but they are picking scores from offside, and they believe like there's their whole ability to get them through. Once they get the ball at all, lovely little flick across here in front of the goals again. You're going to see another little flick here now, just over the bar, off the shoulder. It's hard to hurl against them. As Gerard says, like if Dublin are to bring their A game, but again, like here, another little pop back, look Farrell back here, Parkrone again. Like rather than taking on the man, they're playing the ball back out short, and the lads from outside are popping over the bar. Goals aren't coming, but like they're winning their matches this way. So like I can't see them change today. They'll still keep their forwards will move. They'll keep the point of attack switching over them, not to let the Dublin half back line kind of settle in on top of them, and they'll try to stretch the Dublin back. So that's the big if for Cork. But they will have good hurlers, and like if they're let kind of play their nice natural hurling, it'll be very hard to beat.
Another aspect about Cork as well, a couple of years ago people were saying, even people from within Cork are saying, Cork hurling could be down for a while, the players are not coming through, the structure in the county is not what it used to be and all that, and yet here they are again in an All-Ireland semi-final.
Well, like when you look at their record at minor and under 21 level, they haven't won a minor since 2001.
True.
It's very unusual for Cork. So you were going to say, where are the players coming from? And even 2 years ago, when they were beaten so badly, you said, God, that's Cork down for ages. But then along comes Jimmy Barry-Murphy. And what he has got out of these players who
Dublin footballers, by the way, sorry to cut across you, Ger, not needless to say, interested spectators at today's match.
Yeah,
nice to see.
It's great to see it as well.
Yeah.
Like it's great to see. It's great to see the kind of there's a great unity, I think, among the whole GAA community in Dublin now. Even though there's often rivalries at club level between the hurling and the football, but they have a chance of doing something unique. That wasn't done since Cork did in 1990. Yeah, exactly.
That's
1990. Right. So they have a chance of doing that, but they have a massive obstacle to overcome today in order to do that.
Team picture for Cork. You were talking about Jimmy Barry-Murphy.
Well, when Jimmy Barry-Murphy, you see the influence he has had as a manager. They were absolutely down in 1995, 96. He came in 96. The first year he was in, they were trounced by Limerick. They were in such a bad state. They were trounced by Limerick, below in their own pitch in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, something that never happened in the history before. And then he went through 97, 98, and then 99 he won the All-Ireland. Now, at that time you could argue he had better material because he had Donald Logue, David O'Sullivan, the O'Connors, that great crowd coming. But what he's getting out of the like of William Egan, Christopher Joyce, Conor Sullivan, Stephen McDonnell at full back, and now if, as Cyril was saying there, if the like of Conor Lahan and Luke Farrell repay the faith he has in them, today is the big day. Today will really tell just where Cork are going, because you could say Kilkenny were on their last legs. The second half against Limerick wasn't great, but today will really tell us just how good they are.
And if they do come good and get to the All-Ireland final, Cyril, the other irony of it is, of course, only a few months ago, people on Cork were saying he's going the wrong direction, he's after getting rid of the old stalwarts and fellas that he should be able to rely on and do the wrong things.
Yeah, but Michael, players, Gerald tell you, he managed and he played. You could be number 6 for 10 years in the county team. Long innings. 5 of them you're coming, and unknown to yourself the other 5 you're going. But a lot of players, when they get to that stage, fail to realise that their time is coming. You pass it on to the next incumbent of that county jersey. It isn't yours forever. Now, Jim Barry-Murphy made a conscious decision. He went for the young players that hadn't won much underage really, hadn't won any minors under 21s, but they were able to hurl. And the biggest find this year so far has been Seamus Harnedy. Plays for St. Eater's, a small club in Cork. Did his hurling with UCC this year? Sean Fitzgibbon came out of the blue, like most of the Cork senior clubs wouldn't even probably have heard of him or know about him much because we were playing against him. Now he's invested in this youth policy, and if it comes true, like they're going to be there for ages. He wasn't going to change when he started investing, and he couldn't change. Now they are very young, they are inexperienced. They have Dublin have been. It's unbelievable to think that Dublin are actually far more experienced at the top level now with this team than Cork are, because it usually Cork to be the other way around. But still, Cork's pedigree in hurling, they really believe come get into Torres, get into Croke Park, they usually have to hit the big day there. And Jim Barry-Murphy, more than Daly would be kind of get them uptight. Jim Barry-Murphy is very kind of cool and calm, and kind of we kind of talk it out, we kind of work it out, and he won't be very high or very low, winning or losing. He kind of keeps a level par the whole way, and he's just that he has that icon figure in Cork to hold the whole lot together.
And by the way, a new idea here at Croke Park for this year's All-Ireland semi-finals, and it'll also apply in the final, of course. It's a pre-match handshake, and this is to promote the idea of respect within the game. Players shaking hands with each other. Liam O'Neill, of course, the president of the GAA, saw just a moment ago there, and this is, I suppose, a change from the traditional thing that you shook hands with your direct opponent. And then hit him with clatter, I suppose, after that. But
no Luis Suarez there anyway. Coming down
So Michael,
it gets him a bit of practice for the All Ireland, because that's the way, you line up in the All Ireland. And all these are distractions that you have to learn. It's underestimated, Michael. All the distractions that are on the big day that you have to learn to cope with.
Of course.
So at least when you get in the semi-final, whoever gets to the final will have experienced it before then.
Okay, lads, we're about to get into the parade. So, Cyril Farrell, your thoughts on this and how you reckon this is going to go?
Well, I think if it's a free-flowing game, it's a fast and flowing. If the ref is as strict as been all year, it'll suit Cork because of pick-off freeze. If it gets into a dogfight, Dublin will love it, but I still think Cork's hurling it in will get them through.
Mention of the referee, how do you think he's going to play this? What's he going to be looking for?
Do you know what I like about him? He's cool. He's cool.
Yeah.
Having a cool referee in a big game like this is very, very important. Now, as regards who will win, tradition and everything I know favours Cork. But listen, how could I go for anybody except Dublin?
Don't want to get shot.
And even my head and my heart says both say Dublin. I think the momentum they have for the Leinster final will carry them through, which will be a ferociously contested contest. But if they're still there with 10 minutes to go, I'd have every confidence that they'll move to the final.
And whatever way this game works out, gentlemen, it's an extraordinary thing, I have to say, to see here at Croke Park something like 60,000 people, to see Dublin in an All-Ireland hurling semi-final.
It's unbelievable. It's like we're used to it for the football, but we're not used for the hurling. And it's unbelievable. The whole place is blue all around town. I met a guy putting up balloons, blue balloons. They developed put up a bit higher because they're going to be all bang cracked out of the place, and put up a few Cork ones as well. But the atmosphere is different because I suppose Kilkenny have won so much and they've been here so often, and we're so used to seeing them here and seeing them win, and probably the best team we've ever seen in our lifetime anyway. But they're not here now, so these a new power is going to come, and who says there's going to be one of these two? And
but it would be even better if it was Clare, Limerick and Dublin only there after today.
All right then, time to hand over to our commentary team. They are Michael Duignan and first Marty Morrissey.
Thank you very much, Michael. Well, when one flicks through the history books or indeed search through the internet to try to discover what might happen today, what emerges from every page or every screen is the unprecedented success that Cork has enjoyed in championship hurling matches over Dublin. The very first match was played at Clonturf Park in Drumcondra here in Dublin in 1892, and the last was in 2008 in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. In the intervening 116 years, Cork and Dublin have met 14 times in the championship, with the Rebels winning on 11 occasions and Dublin victorious only twice. There was one draw way back in 1902, and even then Cork won the replay 2-6 to Dublin's 1 point. So do you think this history worries this Dublin squad or management? Absolutely not. Since Anthony Daly was appointed in 2008, this group of talented hurlers won the National Hurling League in 2011, the first time since 1939. That's a 72-year gap. This summer, for the first time since 1942, Kilkenny were beaten in the provincial series. That's a 71-year statistic now destroyed. And then, of course, Dublin won the Leinster Championship 5 weeks ago for the first time since 1961. That's 52 years ago. But today, undoubtedly, it's their biggest challenge. You see, Dublin haven't beaten Cork in the championship since 1927. If Dublin do win, then by 5 o'clock they will have ended an 86-year wait and also qualified for an All-Ireland hurling final for the first time since 1961. So does history matter? Does tradition matter? Michael Duignan.
Well, Marty, there's some statistics you've come up with there, so you obviously trawled the internet all week, but of course it matters, but I suppose history and tradition are there to be taken on as well. I know coming from Offaly, we had no tradition up until 1980, and we built a tradition, and it's hard to keep it there in a small county. But look at this has been the atmosphere, Marty, first of all, just to try to explain it to people at home. It's like an All-Ireland final. The crowd is not as big, it's not a full house, but it's unbelievable. The noise, the colour, and there's some crowd from Cork there. I think the Cork crowd probably outnumbered the Dublin crowd, and they have travelled, with great confidence. And what a year for hurling it's been so far. It's been absolutely electrifying, and I'm expecting more of the same today. It'll be just a few tactical things that you were mentioning in your scene said earlier. I think Park Cronin will definitely play at centre forward and Liam Rush. I think Conor Lahan will play out in the wing and Jamie Coughlin go back in the corner. They look at Lahan to run at them. They look at Park Cronin in the air, and then you'll see Dublin trying to drop John McCaffrey back into the half back line and let Liam Rush drop back a little bit deeper. So it's really all down to who performs on the day. Dublin are battle hardened, Cork are younger, but they come with that bit of confidence, and really it is a real 50-50 game, as most games are, but this one is so hard to call. I've gone for Cork during the week marginally. I just think there's a little bit more room for improvement in them, but who knows. And as the lad said, you know, Cork have a great tradition, but these players haven't. Tom Kenny is the only man with an Ireland final on the field to play. The rest of them are trying to get to their first ever final, as are, of course, are all the Dublin players. So look, at a fantastic occasion. There can be no losers on a day like this.
It's a sea of blue and red. I haven't seen it with Dublin hurlers, and I've been following them around the country at league games. This is a very special day. And right now, on this day here in Croke Park, it's time for Aran Aveen, sung by Celine Byrne. What an atmosphere. We expect drama, we expect fireworks, we expect a thriller here in Croke Park. The match referee is James Owens from Askamore, County Wexford. It's his very first All-Ireland semi-final. Cork won the toss, decided to play from left to right. In other words, down from Hill 16 down towards the Davin end. The ball is sent in with tremendous pace, with tremendous accuracy, and within 12 seconds of this All-Ireland semi-final, Dublin have a score.
Yeah, Martin, look, Danny Sutcliffe, they're a young player on the Dublin team, but I've huge regard for him. Fantastic to set the tone, pick up a ball out past midfield and drive it over the bar, and a great start by Dublin. And Marty, I was saying that Parkrun has gone to centre forward, Conor Lahan is out in the wing, so you know, I think they were touted during the week as possible moves, and they've been made by Cork.
What a great start for Dublin, and indeed Danny Sutcliffe, who of course scored the crucial goal against Kilkenny in the semi-final replay. Here's Rhino Dwyer bursting forward. The call comes indeed from Sutcliffe, who was waiting just along the sideline. Tries to flick it forward. Intercepted on this occasion by Luke O'Farr. Sent inside past Daniel Carney. Coming forward was Johnny McCaffrey. Referee James Owens has blown his whistle and given a free to Cork. Let's see what happened here.
Yeah, Rhino Dwyer, very physical player. You know, early in the game. Yeah, it took the ref a long time there to decide on the yellow card. I thought there, Marty, Jimmy Barry was having a word with the linesman there and influenced it slightly, but you know, it was a slightly late tackle and definitely a free, but maybe a harsh yellow card.
Yellow card confirmed from Rhino Dwyer as Patrick Horgan takes the fray and sends it between the posts for his first point in this All-Ireland semi-final. Sides are level in Croke.
And that's a fantastic free. Patrick Horgan being outstanding for Cork. That's not an easy free to start with, right out on the sideline in the middle of the field. A great score by Horgan.
Tuck out from Gary Maguire. Larkin McLaughlin is in there. So too is Conal Keeney. Coming away with it is Daniel Carney. Lovely wristy hurler. Cork go back into the attack, send it down towards Luke O'Farrell. A lot expected from him. Tries to get it through, blocked on this occasion. Half blocked at least by Michael Carton. So that's going to be a sideline ball for Cork.
Yeah, Luke O'Farrell, long way out the field here. Nice block there by Michael Carton, who's been outstanding for Dublin. But you mentioned one man there, Daniel Carney, Marty. I thought his influence against Kilkenny in the first 20 minutes in particular. He's only 5'9", and people say there's no place for a small man, but he's so pacey around the field.
Tom Kenny's ball inside. There's a chance here for Cork. Dublin were exposed momentarily. Battling hard is Conor Lahan, and he puts it over the bar. But just for a second or two, Dublin looked to be exposed.
Absolutely. If you watch, just broke away here from Lahan, but just watch this for a pick-up here. Incredible skill there, back up on his feet, and that's an absolutely brilliant score. And this is a man, I think, ready to explode. You know, he's had a quiet enough year, brilliant last year in his first year, but flashes in the last couple of games, and this could be a huge day for him.
Good start to this All-Ireland semi-final. Pacey, fast, and already at a level of excitement that we would expect. As that ball is sent to the left and wide. Off the stick of Joey Boland. Ready to take the puck out. Goalkeeper Anthony Nash. He's had a wonderful season. Yet to concede a goal. Ball comes down towards Liam Rush, gathered by Conor Lahan. Looks like a man to be on fire in the early stages. Dropping this in. Up goes Luke O'Farrell. Here comes the shot. Here comes the score. So much expected of Luke O'Farrell. A lot of the scoring has been done by Patrick Horgan. Came into the semi-final with 23 points. A little bit of pressure on the Middleton man, but he is delivering.
He is, and a great ball there, Conor Lahan across the field. But interesting to see Anthony Nash trying to isolate Pat Cronin on Liam Rush. Liam Rush very strong in the air, but obviously that's a tactic. They're going to take on Liam Rush and look to pick up breaks off him. Rather than him running onto breaks, they're going to look to play off the break off him, and that's what happened there.
Ball is aimed at Conal Keaney, picked up instead by Joey Boland. Sent in towards Ryan O'Dwyer, waiting for this Danny Sutcliffe. Stephen McDonald comes away with it. Played fullback against Kilkenny, moved to cornerback. He's blossoming in the role, obviously. Hand passes it forward towards Luke O'Farrell, but it hit off the surface at pace, skidded, sideline ball.
I think when a fullback passes the halfway line, gets a bit of rush of blood, and I think there was a bit of a nosebleed coming on there. But Luke O'Farrell wasn't expecting the pass. But great run, great pace, Marty, to the game, as you say. Fantastic start, very open hurling, no cynicism, which is the big word in football all summer. This is absolutely flying, great fast hurling so far.
Paul Chute from Kula taking the sideline cut. Runs along nicely. Far as John McCaffrey. Waiting for it with Stephen McDonald. Hand passes it far as Shane O'Neill. Delivers it long up for Patrick Horgan. Getting inside the cover of Peter Kelly. Good defending by the Lucan Sarsfields clubman. The fullback recovered really well. Under pressure. Drove it over the sideline. But good work by Dublin defensively.
Yeah, and Marty, the ball went from one end of the field. I think Paul Ryan feel a bit unlucky not to get a free the other end, but then Pat Horgan thought he was inside, and great recovery by Peter Kelly, and little solo here I think as well. Yeah, and really hard to see, but here's Paul Ryan just clipped going across there, and that's a free in. You know, it's accidental, but it's definitely a free. We saw a player sent off in the minor final for a similar offence, which was only a free, and disappointing to see that in the minor.
Gary Maguire sending it down the wing. Gathering it here is Conal Keaney. Crossfield ball over towards Danny Sutcliffe. Got the first score after 12 seconds. This is Dotsy O'Callaghan. Checks it after him is Conor O'Sullivan. Dotsy is fouled, and that's a free in for Dublin.
Yeah, Dotsy, great, fantastic servant to Dublin hurling over the years, and you see Conor O'Sullivan just a little tug on the arm there. And he's really, you know, new lease of life this summer, I think, Dotsy again. And it's great to see after all these years of service, you know, to win that Leinster Championship medal, the likes of him and Conal Keaney, who've been around so long.
Going to take the free, Paul Ryan. Just to the left of the post. No problem for the Ballybowden St Enda's man. An intriguing contest. Tactical game being played. As Michael mentioned, Patrick Cronin playing at centre half forward on Liam Rush, and once again Anthony Nash sends it down that middle channel. Lovely little touch on. There's a chance here for Conor Lahan, and that ball is gone wide. But it's interesting, the tactics by Anthony Nash. First time he was aiming for Patrick Cronin, who had moved out to the wing. This time he went straight down the middle. Yeah,
Cronin made a run across the field, took Liam Rush out of the centre and left the centre open, and obviously Cork have put a lot of work into this tactical puck outs. Liam Rush really will have to hold the centre and let the men on either wing pick up Pat Cronin if he makes the run.
And that battle between Patrick Cronin, wearing number 12 for Cork, and number 6 Liam Rush for Dublin, is crucial. Great pressure by Conal Keaney. Good block down by Christopher Joyce. The Pearson man goes back to gather. Flicks it in, but it only goes past Paul Ryan. Sending it a ball across. Coming out to gather it is Dotsy. Turning and sending that, and Anthony Nash is happy to see that go over the crossbar with a little bit of help from the Cork keeper. but really good fast play by Dotsie O'Callaghan.
Yeah, Marty, that score was made up by the tackling of the Dublin forwards. Gerald Nan spoke about it beforehand, you know, turnover ball and the ferocious tackling there on Christopher Joyce. Ball spilled and a ball across the middle to Dotsie and over the bar.
8.5 minutes gone, sides level for the second time. Ball is available for Patrick Cronin. Sent back for his Tom Kenny. Along the surface, for his Conor Lahan. Waiting for it in the centre. Good ball for Seamus Harnedy. And Harnedy has sent it wide. That is a missed opportunity for the Rebels.
Well, there's an old thing in hurling, Marty. You can have too much time on the ball, and I think there Seamus Harnedy he just relaxed. He had all day to tap it over. He could have taken another couple of steps forward and stuck it over, and that's two bad rides. Now Conor Lahan had one previously.
Tuck out from superbly cut by Ryan O'Dwyer. Flicked inside for the Dublin captain using the hand pass. It's Conal Kinney. It's over the bar. Excellent play by Dublin.
Oh, that's an incredible catch by Ryan O'Dwyer. Lovely hand pass out by John McCaffrey, and an easy score for Conal Kinney. But Ryan O'Dwyer very brave there under a very hard ball. Look at this for a catch and 3 or 4 hurls. Everyone, all eyes on the ball, everyone going for the ball, and a fantastic catch.
Ball is knocked down for Larkin McLaughlin coming through, chasing after him is Joey Boland. It's still McLaughlin. He uses the short grip, and it just about got over the crossbar. It's a point for Cork off the hurl of Larkin McLaughlin from Kanturk.
Yeah, an important score, Marty. Dublin had scored the last 3 points, and you know Cork needed that score. Nice, and Larkin McLaughlin, underrated player, I think, very mobile, and himself and Daniel Carney forming a very mobile midfield partnership for Cork.
It's level for the third time at headquarters. Going back to gather is Christopher Joyce. Daniel Carney is there as well. John McCaffrey somehow managed to get a block in it. Conal Kinney, good call from Joey Boland. Boland goes onto the left-hand side and shoots and sends it left and wide. It's really fast, open game so far. Ryan O'Dwyer has picked up an injury and requiring some medical attention. Former Tipperary hurler, of course, ex-Cashel Kincormacs, now playing club hurling with Kilmacud Crooks in Stillorgan, here in Dublin. Tuck out from Anthony Nash. Up goes Liam Rush. Magnificent catch. Getting away from Patrick Cronin. Sending it down towards Paul Ryan. Staying close to him is Conor O'Sullivan. Here comes Ryan O'Dwyer, getting a touch on it. Ball is bouncing all over the place. It comes first, Conor O'Sullivan. Flicks it back. Good play. It's Stephen McDonald that gives it plenty of air. Down towards Seamus Harnedy. It comes instead for his Luke O'Farrell. Luke O'Farrell laying it off quickly for his Jamie Collin. Jamie Coughlin's effort is half blocked. It's still there. Goalkeeper Gary Maguire is off the goal line. And there is Paul shooting. Liam Rush is there. Add a bit of calmness. Ball is blocked. Goalkeeper is backtracking backwards his goal line. It's Conor Lahan. The cross has to be inch perfect. Comes in for his Larkin McLaughlin. McLaughlin did well. Cut inside and scores. Brilliant work by the Rebels from Cork. Never gave up.
Marty, breathless hurling here. It's unbelievable, end to end. The blocking, hooking, the effort by both sides, and Larkin McLaughlin came through, kept his eye on the ball and brought it down. But Liam Rush here, the first maybe real 50-50 ball between himself and Pat Cronin, and Rush out in front and a super catch.
Puck out from Gary Maguire. Conal Kinney knocking it down. Danny Sutcliffe trying to get away from this tight marking Cork defence. Daniel Carney is there. So too is Seamus Harnedy for the Rebels of Cork. This is going to be a free for Cork between the 45 and 65 metre line on their own side. Coming out to take it, goalkeeper Anthony Nash. He's already scored twice in the championship. Both of them frees against Clare. That gives you a good idea of what Anthony Nash is looking at.
He certainly has the distance, I'd imagine. No, the breeze holding it up.
This is dropping a little bit short. Up goes Liam Rush again. Ball comes available to Patrick Horgan, breaking his way down. The ball is loose, it's available. Plenty of Dublin defenders there, they scoop it out. Stephen Heine is there, he's under a bit of pressure, so is Michael Carton. Cork chasing everything. Heine on the ball momentarily, picked up instead by Patrick Horgan. Who has it now? It's Larkin McLaughlin onto his left-hand side, and the ball is wide. Oh, it's breathless hurling in Croke Park, but it is so enjoyable.
Yeah, there's been a couple of wides, Marty, but apart from that, it's absolutely fantastic. Great effort by both sides. I think Pat Horgan trying to burrow through there, and even if on the ball, some great blocking. And Lorcan McLaughlin could have had his third point there, but it's absolutely. It's hard to get time to catch a breath here. It's so fast, and so the mobility, the fitness of the players is just incredible.
Some statistical information there for you on our screen in terms of scoring chances. Ball comes all the way down towards Paul Ryan, getting it onto his left hand side, but the ball is deflected out for a 65. Dublin. They need to get this man more on the ball and perhaps isolate him up front.
Yeah, I think they do, Marty, but I suppose so far in the game, there's so much pressure on the man with the in possession that he's just letting it go wherever he can. It's not really at the stage of the game where it's opening up yet. But again, Ryan O'Dwyer there, a ball he really had no right to win, got a flick to it inside and into Paul Ryan, deflection, and out for 65, and he's out now to take it.
He scored 3 goals and 26 points in the championship campaign so far. Add on 2 here in Croke Park, it's now 328. And Dublin and Cork are level for the 4th time in this semi-final. And thankfully, only 14 and a half minutes gone. Tuck out from Anthony Nash, beautiful layoff. Chance here for Cork, and that is superb play. Lorcan McLaughlin coming through. 3 points for the Cork number 8.
Yeah, absolutely. Joey Boland's on him, very good, who's having a great year, but McLaughlin, I've never seen him getting forward as much as this, and that's his 4th shot and goal. He scored 3 of them, and he's having a massive influence on the game.
Tuck out, comes down towards Tom Kenny, gets a touch to it. Picked up instead by Joey Boland. And pass back as Michael Carton. Colin Keeney is available and obviously sends out the call. Keeney goes for the score. It's dropping in around the house. Ball is wide off the hurl of Dotsy O'Callaghan.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a breeze, Marty, favouring Dublin, and they've been drawn in maybe to a bit of long range shooting where, as you mentioned a minute ago, a few balls into the full forward line, which they did so well in the Leinster final, but it's only a point in it, and but just that breeze I think is freshening slightly, and it's in Dublin's favour.
Long puck out again from Anthony Nash, putting the Dublin defence under a little bit of pressure. This is Peter Kelly. Has the time to balance the sliotar on the pass of the hurl and then drive it long. Good work this time by David Tracy. Stephen McDowell tries to hook him. It's an easy ball for Anthony Nash. Dotsy Callahan comes in to challenge. Nash again goes for distance. Liam Rush is underneath it. So to Peter Kelly it is. Peter looks and gives a diagonal ball over for his David Tracy. Good catch on the run. Can he finish? Can he what? Brilliant score from David Tracy.
Yeah, Martin, a great ball by Peter Kelly across to David Tracy. And this is a player, I think, he's struggled with injuries. He's only 23, he's around the Dublin panel a long time, but Anthony Daly has such high regard for him. He gets a lot of hamstring injuries, but when he's fully fit, he's so dangerous, and that's a great score that will settle him.
Level for the 5th time in Croke Park. Liam Rush gathers his thoughts, makes a little bit of space, sends it down towards Stephen McDonald, right corner back from Glen Rovers. Ball comes available to Tom Kenny, grabbed instead by Danny Sutcliffe. He's going for his 2nd point in this semi-final, and it's bang on target. Beautiful skill, great score.
Absolutely. Marty, just distracted for a second there looking at the scoreboard, but Danny Sutcliffe, that's 2 scores from way out the field, but this player has everything. He burst on the scene last year, had a brilliant league, and he's carried that form through to this championship, and himself and Conal Keane have an outstanding years in that half-hour game.
Former captain of the Dublin Miners, Danny Sutcliffe. Ball comes available. This is Conor Lahan, and that is straight between the posts for his 2nd point of the game. So much expected from this corner forward from Middleton. The Munster Championship, the qualifiers, he was quiet enough, but he is coming to life.
Well, he is, Marty, and he's out in the wing on Stephen Heine. He's very pacey, and that's his 3rd shot at goal. He scored 2 points, and he looks very, very sharp. But a lot of the players do. I have to say, the pace of the game hasn't dropped since the start, and a fantastic open contest.
7 points each. level 6 times. Willie Egan grabbing that slither, sending it down towards Jamie Cole, trying to get away this time from Liam Rush. Danny Sutcliffe, good grafting, good finisher, great skill, flicks it forward and goes through the return. The referee blows the whistle despite David Tracy. He allows the play to continue. Tracy, in pairs Joey Boland. What about this for a score? Fantastic Dublin. They had to work for it, they had to create, they had to use their skill and vision, and finally the shot comes from Joey Boland and it was absolute perfection.
Marty scored the game so far. Brilliant block by Danny Sutcliffe, threw it inside to a great ball into Joey Boland, and good refereeing as well. He gave the advantage and a great score.
It's compliments to the referee, in fact. Cork on the other hand counter attack here. Patrick Horgan turns and shoots, and guess what? He scores. It's his second point of the game. We're having an absolute thriller. It's 8 points each in Croke Park, level for the 7th time.
Yeah, and probably nobody better in the game at the moment than Patrick Horgan at scoring that ball over his shoulder. You know, he's just given him a half yard of pace and it's straight over the bar.
Well, the bookies in advance of this match really couldn't separate these two teams. We've had almost 20 minutes and the two teams can't separate themselves either. It is so tight. Sideline ball is for Peter Kelly and for Dublin.
You know, Martin, I was often asked, you know, over the years, who was the best player you played on and this, that and the other. And I always said every player I played on was a good player. He was and this is what you have out here, great individual battles. You know, you have a lad getting a point, but then his man winning the next ball and vice versa. And you couldn't say anybody is dominating the game. It's really 50-50 throughout the field.
Ball is sent on far as Joey Boland. Conor Lahan is working hard. Comes by Stephen Heine. Laying it off for his Rhino Dwyer. Trying to get by William Egan. Daniel Carney comes in to try and get a hook. Rhino Dwyer's effort is just to the right and wide. And that's Dublin's 4th wide of the match.
You know, and maybe, a great-hearted player, Rhino Dwyer, but sometimes, you know, shooting from those angles, they're not on. It's one little fault in his game. He did score 3 points in the Leinster final, very important points, but, you know, that ball really should have been flashed across the square again.
Puck out again from Anthony Nash. This time it's aimed at Seamus Harnedy. Johnny McCaffrey is back there, lays it off by Michael Carton. Ball over towards Conor Keaney. William Egan comes and attacks the ball. That's wonderful. Left half back play. Along the surface bar is Patrick Horgan, who in turn lays it off to Daniel Carney, a player that really impressed me, and he's doing it again. Past the 20, it's deflected, and it's gone out for a 65. Oh, he is a ball of energy. When he gets the slither on the hurl, there is always something special going to happen, and it almost happened here.
Absolutely, Martin. The speed of Daniel Carney just went away from Joey Boland, and a great block. I think it was Liam Rush coming across here, stood up tall, and the ball hit him, and maybe Daniel Carney could have flicked it over the bar. And then maybe I mentioned there was no edge. Maybe Cork have an edge in the middle of the field at the moment. You know, Larkin McLaughlin scored 3 points, Daniel Carney covering a bit of ground, and but both Dublin players have been involved as well in a bit of link play and a point by Joey Boland, but I'd say Cork have an edge there at the moment.
Patrick Horgan taking the 65, and the umpires are signalling it wide. And we're all a little bit shocked because that doesn't normally happen with Patrick. Puck out from Gary Maguire is going to have to be done again, because Dublin are going to bring on Shane Durkin, who really played well when he came on in the Leinster final, and the player that's going off is Stephen Heine. So Shane Durkin coming on for his club mates from Ballyboden St Enda's, Stephen Heine.
Yeah, and there's a double whammy there. Shane Durkin has gone into the middle of the field with Joey Boland come back wing back, where he'd be more comfortable on Conor Lahan. I think we're just worried about maybe Lahan getting on the ball so much and their midfield.
And here comes Johnny McCaffrey trying to jink right, needs a little bit of support, but he overcarried in the eyes of the referee James Owens from Ascamore in County Wexford, and it is a free out for Cork.
Yeah, well, he had 3 options there. He could have flicked it over the bar or past David Tracy with a great run down the middle. He didn't see him, and then eventually ran into trouble.
Anthony Nash takes the fray. Patrick Cronin underneath it. Ball comes towards Luke O'Farrell. Gathering it is Seamus Harnedy. Difficult angle. Acute angle. But guess what? It's over. The crossbar by Harnedy, who made his championship debut against Clare. We never heard of him. My God, do we know about him now? Look at this. It was so tight, and yet he managed to squeeze it inside the post.
Yeah, late developer, but definitely defined the championship. Has had a fantastic season. Every game has been very, very good.
Ball knocked down by Harnedy. First Jamie Collin flicks it on first Patrick Horgan. He comes out in the middle of the field looking for possession. It's a dangerous ball. The goalkeeper comes off his line. Oh dear. I'm waiting for my heart to go back in again.
Well, again,
that looked like it was going
in. Huge presence, and this is obviously. When the umpires are right beside it, they've given a free out for a square ball, yeah. And he was in the square before the ball. Good call.
Ball comes out towards Tom Kenny, knocked away, comes for his Ryan Dwyer, flicks it up for his Shane Durkin. Nice ball inside for his McCaffrey. William Egan comes together. McCaffrey, however, lost possession. He also lost the hurl, but doesn't give up. Conor O'Sullivan knocks it forward for his Tom Kenny. Tries to flick it forward, intercepting cleverly is David Tracy. He's going for his second point, has it the legs. Anthony Nash then drops it, having collected coolly. Just took his eye off it. I think Anthony was already deciding where will I deliver it. He just took his eye off the ball. Ball is sent down towards Luke O'Farrell. Coming across to gather is Niall Corcoran. Flicks it into the centre. Joey Boland, remember, as Michael said, is playing now at right half back. Liam Rush sends it over first. Shane Durkin, who's operating in the middle of the field. Ball is given long. Coming across is David Tracy. Getting there first is Stephen McDonald. McDonald knocked off the hurl by Danny Sutcliffe, willing to take on Shane O'Neill. Sutcliffe goes back. Heard the call, obviously, from Conal Keeney. Lovely little wrist work. Comes for Shane Durkin, who strokes it gently, but not accurately. We had to wait for the umpire to do the short ball.
Looking for Hawkeye, yeah.
And the referee, correctly, James Owens, has decided to go to Hawkeye. So the Hawkeye, for the first time in this All-Ireland semi-final, being called into operation. Question is it a point or is it a miss? Here comes the results.
Wide.
And it is a miss. Umpire correct, Hawkeye correct.
Yeah, it was great, and great to see. Great to see it being brought into play, because you don't want a big match decided maybe by I often wonder how many matches over the years were decided by maybe one that was over or wide or whatever.
And we have this wonderful facility, as you say, Michael, use it. Johnny McCaffrey back there helping out his defence, knocked away brilliantly by Shane O'Neill. Niall Corcoran underneath this, trying to pick it up. Ball comes Luke O'Farrell. Seamus Harnedy has gone inside, uses the left hand side. Lovely control by Conor Lahan. Lahan's performance is already match-winning ability, and some people have often wondered about Jimmy Barry Murphy's faith in Conor Lahan. It was never in doubt. He stuck with him. Look at this for a great score.
Marty, that's an incredible first touch, and I think the Cork forwards are moving around. Park Cunningham went in full forward. Here's Dotsy on the ball.
Here's Dotsy doing what Conor Lahan did a moment ago and raising the white flag. For Dotsy, it's the second time in this semi-final. It is so fast, so exhilarating. The slither is moving from Hill 16 down to Davin End at a tremendous pace.
Yeah, and I think both forward lines, have to say, are doing very well. A lot of scores in play, a lot of open hurling, and I think the speed of the game, it's wide open and suiting forwards, and there hasn't been hardly a free in the game. As I speak, Liam Rush holds his ground around the park corner, but there hasn't been anything, maybe 3 or 4 frees, I think, since the start of the game. Very, very little anyway.
It's just about right, actually. We've 3 frees awarded for Cork and 3 frees awarded for Dublin. Free-flowing game.
James Owen, ref, I like a lot, and he's a great ref in a game like this. He's willing to let it flow. There's no dirty play out there, and why not let it go?
This man won a Leinster under-21 back in 2007, a Leinster minor in 2005. It's Joey Boland dropping it in, knocked away, hit with ball wide, turning on a sixpence, dropping it in, but it's going across the face of the goal. Dr. Callaghan goes across to gather it, but getting there first is Shane O'Neill. Wonderful hurler, can play cornerback, fullback, great hands, great skill. It's Seamus Harnedy Tries to get a ball in for his Jamie Cullen. It's Harnedy again who goes chasing after it. But the referee felt that Dublin were fouling, so that is a free in for Cork. Wonderful work though by Harnedy initially, and he was there again in the thick of the action. Patrick Horgan, 25-year-old since last May, hits this in, and once again the white flag will be raised. It's his third point in the match. Lead by 2. It's 11 points to 9.
Yeah, crucial period now, Martin. 5 minutes to half time. You know, Dublin need a score just to stay in it. Like Cork get another score or two and open a little gap, or can Dublin get back in terms? And here they are through.
Nice ball inside from Conal Keaney. Lays it off for his Paul Ryan. Conor O'Sullivan. Hefty shoulder. Great ball inside for his David Tracy. Bearing down a goal. He kicks. It's a goal for Dublin. The first time Cork have conceded a goal in the championship of 2013. And it's a cooler man with the name David Tracy that rattles the back of the Cork net.
Well, this is what he can do, Mark. Look at the explosive turn of pace. Kicked it in. Lovely ball by Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan has had 2 other balls in his hand and he had a couple of feeble shots, but he looked up here and played a lovely little ball inside, and just watch his first touch, and then lovely feed, quick feed, and burst the pace and kicked it into the net. A super goal.
Ball comes down for Seamus Harnedy. Referee blows the whistle for the challenge by the Dublin man, and that is a free in for Cork. Well, Michael Duignan, you had just said the next 5 minutes, because we were almost on the half hour, and it's a crucial score.
Well, it is, Marty, and look at that free kick with the outside of the boot. I think Kieran Kilkenny or any of the lads would be proud of that. But he is a player, I know from talking to Anthony Daly, he has such faith in as well. You mentioned Conor Lahan with Jimmy Barry Murphy, and Anthony Daly has stuck, and there's Pat Horgan with a free over the bar, but Anthony Daly has stuck with David Tracy. I think when the pressure would have been on over the last while, now and again, to leave him off, but he knows how good he is, and there's a crucial score. And you know, Seamus Harnedy won a free there, and now the match level again.
It's a thriller in the capital city. Half an hour played. The sides are level on the 8th occasion. Correction! That statistic didn't last long. Johnny McCaffrey, captain from Lucan Sarsfields, has put Dublin back in front. It's 110-12.
Yeah, and Johnny McCaffrey, you know, scored a couple of great points in the Leinster final, sometimes the odd wide as well, but great captain. Has been captain, I think, ever since Anthony Daly came to Dublin, and you know, an inspirational score there again.
Patrick Cronin delivers it long up towards Seamus Harnedy, beating on this occasion Liam Rush, and Harnedy gets his second point of the game. No matter where you are in the world watching this, you have to say there is no other game in the world when you have skill, speed, accuracy, bravery, all wrapped up in one match in one half an hour.
I agree.
Possession, 55% for Dublin, 45% for Cork. And that statistic could change yet again. Here comes Conal Keaney, trying to flick it inside. Ryan O'Dwyer is hovering, trying to chip it up. He's on the ground. Tom Kenny is there, and his Ryan O'Dwyer somehow manages to get out to Keaney! And it's a bullet-like shot, but the ball is wide. My God, this is just exhausting, but it's wonderful.
But I think or did he change his mind? Or I thought he was going Hawkeye. He
is going Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Just to double check whether Conal Keaney's shot was wide or not. Let's have a look. And that ball is going to be wide. It is a miss. Confirmation coming your way now. Puck out coming from Anthony Nash. Long ball, changing direction away from Liam Rush and Patrick Cronin. Picked up on this occasion by Shane Durkin. Rush is available, not for very long, as Harnedy was coming in to challenge. Ball comes down to Paul Ryan. Great hands again. Onto the left-hand side, aiming for Datsy O'Callaghan. Good work on this occasion by Shane O'Neill. Batting it forward, under pressure, Stephen McDonald. Severe pressure, but the Glen Rovers man is well able. Knocked away by Lorcan McLaughlin. Tapped back Farrell's McDonald. The over was deliberate, but it worked. Daniel Carney under pressure. Here comes O'Dwyer. O'Dwyer seemed to floor Daniel Carney in a hefty shoulder. Referee indicating that it is a Dublin free.
Yeah, Marty, that came about again by fantastic tackling by the Dublin forwards. Put the Cork defenders under all sorts of pressure, and then a foul there then by Daniel Carney, and that move by Dublin, very brave. A player like Stephen Heine, such an important member of the team, to take him off so quickly, and Shane Durkin has come in and steady things down there in the middle of the field, or around the half back line middle of the field.
Jimmy Barry Murphy along the sideline. Paul Ryan taking this free. It looks good. It is good. It's his third point of the match. All of them from frees. And we have 1 minute of additional time going to be added on in this first half. And 1 point separating the seconds. Quick puck out finds Tom Kenny. Hand passes it on past Patrick Cronin. Going for the score from in front of the Hogan stand. That is magnificent hurling by the Bishopstown man.
Yeah, Martin, he's had a quite enough first half. Himself and Liam Rush maybe cancelling each other out, but he's been ill. I met his mother coming in, actually had a great chat with her outside, and she was telling me about his pneumonia and the difficulties he's had, but back now at full tilt, and a very important member of that half forward line. But a great battle between him and Liam Rushton.
His mother is Morris, if you're not related, I believe. Anyway, 111 to 14 points, sides level for the 10th time. It's been that kind of a first half, an amazing first half. Coming forward is Shane O'Neill, laying it off as Patrick Cronin. Can he get his second point? Lobbing this one in towards Luke O'Farrell. Good defending on this occasion by Niall Corcoran. Gathers, there's plenty of Dublin players in around the house, but he goes to the long ball. Available is Jamie Collin. Patrick Cronin right beside him, delivers a ball in towards Luke O'Farrell. Nice turn. Under pressure is Peter Kelly. It's still Luke. Oh, great work by Peter Kelly. Luke O'Farrell. Niall Corcoran has gone over there to help his fullback. Flicks it into the centre. Durkin was there. Long ball, but the Cork players queuing up for this. It's a chance of a score before the break. It's going inside the post and over the crossbar. Daniel Carney with his first point in this All-Ireland semi-final.
Yeah, that's 4 points from midfield. That's a great score, but I think Niall Corcoran a bit unhappy there. He was clearing that ball initially back in the corner, and I think Seamus Hardy came in a little bit of a chop in the hand, and he was looking for a free outer, but a great score by Cork. And what a half, Marty, and give us a chance to catch our breath and get a cup of tea.
Oh, we're definitely going for a cup of tea, Michael. This has been a truly exhilarating opening 35 minutes. The hurling championship summer has been an extravaganza, but the crucial score came in the 29th minute. Crucial in the sense that Cork conceded a goal for the first time in the championship. It came off the boot of David Tracy. Amazingly, in 6 minutes of action, they were level 10 times. And at half-time, Cork lead by 1. It's Cork 15 points, Dublin 111. Analysis from Cyril Farrell and Gerald Nan with Michael in just a moment.
That feeling of being there when Morris Fritz defied physics, unbeatable.
If you're lucky enough to have a Golden Hill ticket, it's just amazing. people from all different parts of the city for the one purpose of cheering on Dublin. It's infectious.
Every man, woman and child from Leitrim was there that day. If you could get there at all, you were there.
It was a dream start. There was only ever going to be one winner of that there ball, and then the finish, was past the goalkeeper before he even seen it.
The GAA Football Championship. Nothing beats being there. Lucozade Sport Club Crusade is back, and it's even better. This year, your club will get free match and training kits and clothing in exchange for Lucozade Sport bottle caps. So get your club registered, start collecting those bottle caps and get quality gear for your club. Register your club today at lucozadesport.ie.
A secret few are born of the gods. This Wednesday.
Oh my God.
We have to save our home. Team up. Go! Grab your weapons.
Come on!
And join the adventure. Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters.
With a family, a mortgage and a car to look after, when it comes to saving money, the one thing I really like about Allianz is their comprehensive online car insurance now starts at only €245.
Call Allianz for a quote on 1890 48 48 48. And for comprehensive online car insurance quotes starting at only €245, make sure to visit allianz.ie.
Halfway through this All-Ireland hurling semi-final between Dublin and Cork. Of course, Cork leading by a single point, 15 points to 1 goal and 11 points. Cyril Farr, Gerlach now with me here in the studio. Ger, we need a break after that first half. I mean, that was absolutely blistering stuff. It was fantastic.
Well, sure, listen, there's breathtaking, mesmerising, any superlative you want to use, 7 Cork players have scored from play. 6 from Dublin has scored from play. The tone was set right from the start with Denny Sutcliffe scoring a point after just a few seconds. But more importantly, it was the way the teams lined out. They lined out in the traditional way. 3-3-2-3-3. Yeah. No tactics at all, Ron. We'll take you on man for man was the mantra of both Jimmy Barrymurphy and Anthony Daly. And what a spectacle they have given us. We needed that break, as you say, to get a break from it. But the quality of the hurling. And, when people are watching on television, they see the great scores, the hooking and blocking. But if you're here, you see the movement, the quality of the movement all over the field. How they're going to keep it up for 70 minutes, I don't know. But we hope they do, because the score now is often like the final score in the game. 111 to 15 points.
And we should say, Cyril Farrell, compliments as well to the referee James Owens from Wexford, who's just letting them go out and play.
Yeah, well, you see, the thing is, Michael, there you have 2 referees today, one completely different to the other. And like Jimmy Owens is using common sense, letting it flow. No, I don't think there's any other cars yet. And it's a fantastic game of hurling. The skills, the scores, and like the Dublin backs are keeping great. The Cork forwards are moving all over the place. Yes. Conor Lahan, corner forward, wing forward, they're all moving, but they still can't get away from them. And up front, like Dublin, are really causing trouble to the Cork backs. This is game, but it's a privilege to be here because it's a fantastic game of hurling, and to remind you a bit of old style, they're letting the ball rip, they're looking for scores, there's very heavy, good hard tackles, but there isn't one malicious spell to it.
We could pick out so many highlights that first half, Ger. It was a case of anything you can do, we can do as well, but let's just pick out a few anyway. Let's have a look at a couple of the Dublin points. The first one we're going to see is Conall Keaney, because this showed, you were talking about it before the match, this determination in Dublin, this
absolutely,
work ethic.
The work ethic, especially among the forwards, which wasn't always there. And not alone that, but the combination. When you see that there like that, you say, oh, sure, that's easy play. But to have that vision with 60,000 people roaring here for an inexperienced team, that shows the kind of composure that Dublin have today. And not alone that, but the skill level they have as well. Their work rate, they're prepared to take the tackle. They don't care, they're totally oblivious to their own safety. And to finding the man in the open space, that is the whole key to a lot of the point scoring in the first half. The difference between them and Cork is they're working so hard. They're taking on the man they're letting off. Cork are doing the diagonal ball, and Cyril will talk about that. But that's what's really opening up the Dublin defence, is that diagonal ball from Cork.
Cork has some equally fantastic points, but I suppose, Cyril, Lorcan McLaughlin from midfield, if he was dreaming about this game last night, he couldn't have dreamt it any better.
Yeah, the fella has been kind of job range, but like himself and Carlow midfield to do a lot of running, and he actually kept Cork in the game early on. When Dublin were really hitting great scores, this fella kind of blew. He blossomed from midfield, hard enough. Like the 2 boys midfield, McCaffrey and Mulder playing well enough too, but it just wasn't happening for them. Again, now here you're going to see little pop passing them in. They have good vision, and Cork have lovely wrists. And as Gerard said, pointed out, this is hard to hear locked down. they don't have to work. They're not actually putting their bodies in as much as Dublin are. Dublin are workaholics, fight for everything, give everything, and at times maybe they get caught a little bit like that. But like the blocking and the stopping, here again, now look at this, he plays the ball back out, has a little look, there's a diagonal ball across the pitch, and here he comes again, gets a ball he could hardly should have won, I suppose, really, bang on his left side, left or right, like he's having a dream game. At this stage now, when it looks there, you'd imagine Cork were completely on top, but Dublin had a great patch as well, but here he gets onto another pass. He got 3 from play in the first half, Kearney got 1, which was 4, but Dublin has made a very vital switch. They put Durkin in midfield, and they've dropped Boland back wing back, so it is beginning to tighten up for them, but Cork, like, if Cork put in I know they're trying hard, but if they put in their bodies as much as Dublin are, maybe they're not as physically strong, I think they might go on and just win it. But Dublin, as Ger says, they're oblivious to tackles, they're just going through the pain barrier and begin to wonder, I begin to wonder, like Sir Ryan O'Dwyer to do this for 70 minutes, but God, he's playing his heart out, giving Bell, it's going to be hard to keep it going.
Dalkey in South County Dublin, Ger, it's more noted for resident of rock stars and film stars, but David Tracy is a star today for Dublin. That goal was just a tonic for them at that stage.
And it was vital at the time because there was a gap of 2 points. It was beginning to open and they needed it. You felt that they needed a goal to really up their confidence. Now, it was how the goal was made with Paul Ryan here. Again, Dublin have this kind of great vision when they have the ball, and once he gets it, he takes on that full back line and kicks it into the net. We always suspected when that Cork full back line are ran at, when you try and go real past them, brilliant hurlers, but they are vulnerable to attacks like that. And Tracy's determination and fire, and it's great to see him doing it because he had a very bad injury there 2 years ago, and he's coming back to his very, very best. But they needed that goal at that time because you were afraid that Cork would stretch it, and it brought him right back. It put him in the lead again. But of course, what happened next? Cork struck back and got a point again.
Grab yourself a quick cup of tea. Back with the second half live after this short break.
Centra, sponsors of the GAA Hurling Championship.
RTE, supporting the arts.
Freedom comes prepaid with O2.
Liberty Insurance, proud to be the first partner of both hurling and camogie.
The power to steal a crown and lift a county. The Electric Ireland GAA Minor Championships.
Welcome back again. Just a reminder, Cork leading Dublin 15 points to 1 goal and 11 points in front of an attendance of 62,092 here at Croke Park today. Now, also can I tell you that we have a big competition for you again this week here on the Sunday game, so you can watch out for details straight after the conclusion of this afternoon's senior match. Cyril, so many players have made a contribution today on both sides. And again, we're talking about fellas who need to step up to the plate. Conor Lehane has certainly played his part for Cork today. Got a couple of points. One of them could have been a goal, possibly.
Yeah, but he's a very good hurler, but wasn't always doing. But he's a beautiful hurler. He keeps switching on. But look at this, he gets this ball inside here. Now, if he came up first touch, but look, even getting up here, very tight angle to get a little flick in over the bar. He behaved very well to actually get the ball up because Dublin are very good at the tackle. If it came to him first time, but watch this, Michael, on the little hop, he has the skill and ability, and like all Cork forwards, they're not standing in one position. They're shifting back. They're trying to keep the direction of attack, kind of keep moving away from Cork. Just look at this little flick across. Look, once he gets onto this is fantastic skill. Look, takes it down. He has no right to win that ball, but the skill he has, like Peter Kelly's having a great game full back. There is not a bit less thing he can do about there. Just takes it down, and like it's worth the admission to see that skill alone. He's repaying Jim Barry Murphy today because like all through the championship, Cork followers are kind of waiting for this guy to open up. He's picked 3 points there, and he's on his game because he's floating around. And once he gets on the break, he's very hard to stop.
And what's really doing, you see, Michael, is the diagonal ball outside the forward. You know, they're not playing this high ball in between two men, playing the ball outside him across the field, an ideal ball for the forward, but you have to have skill like he has. And another thing the Cork forwards are doing there is they're doing a Kilkenny trick in it. They're all moving around. I'd say every one of the 6 forwards has played already in all of the 6 positions. So you're settled on a man, you know, you're back and you're settled on a fella and you say, I have him now. Next thing he's gone, another fella comes on. So it's brilliant tactical work from Cork. They're stretching that defence to the very, very limit. And I just wonder if Dublin will start dropping back Danny Sutcliffe or somebody to try and help them out, because it's a way too open, you know, for Dublin's good. It's a way too open.
Another interesting thing about today's game, Cyril, is from a Cork point of view, once again they're doing well in a match, so far winning this semi-final without scoring any goals. And
they threatened one there, but not really threatened, because Michael, their policies, they're working from outside. They're tapping the scores from 25, 35 is out. Now Carney came through and went for a goal. It was not over for 65. I thought he was going to tap it over. I said Jim Murray Murphy was screaming his head off. Like, you know, because that's their play. Now if they do get a goal though, like you referred to there, like when Dublin got that goal they needed, because the gap was beginning to come. Now if Cork got a goal, they're well capable of pulling away. But like the way the game is going, it's tit for tat. And like Dublin, if they can keep up this intensity and the work rate up, they have the hurling, they know when they run at them, they have the Cork backs in trouble. If they can keep it up, very much a great chance. But I still have the feeling that Cork will just about edge it. But then again, I suppose, would the draw be a lovely result as well?
Be a lovely result for the GAA. But Ger, at the pace they're going at this in the first half, if they keep this up, then fitness is going to be a crucial factor.
Well, it is, Michael, because I was down on the field there before the game even started. That was early on today, and it was really, really warm. So it's going to take a huge effect on them, you know. But the fitness, the speed, the agility that they have displayed so far is just mind-boggling. That hurling has come to this. But if it is, you think that Dublin would have the advantage, but maybe Cork have timed their training to absolute perfection. So it's all to play for. That's the great thing about now. It's all to play for.
Okay, Dublin out. Cork just joining the changes on the Dublin team that we can see so far. But for more of that, let's go back to our commentary team, Michael Tygden and Marty Morrissey.
Thank you very much, Michael. On September 8th, it'll be the 126th All-Ireland hurling final in the history of the GAA. Will it be Cork or Dublin against Clare and Limerick? We're halfway through this one and we still have absolutely no idea. No changes on either side. Dublin playing from left to right as we watch, with Cork just in front by 1. Patrick Cronin sending the ball deep. Now Corcoran going to gather, attempting to gather, coming across his ball shooting, sending it cleverly, accurately, far as Liam Rush into the centre. Shane Durkin goes for the long ball. Going forward is Conor O'Sullivan. With the slither in his left hand is Conal Keaney, and that's a free end for Dublin.
Yeah, great pick up there by Conal Keaney, and definitely fouled. And the lads mentioned fitness at half time, Marty. You know, Dublin have been using their subs very, very well all year. You know, like some Mark Schutte, Eamon Dillon coming on there, Maurice O'Brien, and maybe even Oisin Goff if needed. Whereas Cork maybe don't have that strength and depth. They might be dependent more on the players they have on the field.
It's Paul Ryan. Scored 3 points, 2 frees, 165. This one just dropping in. Could work out still for Dublin. Ryan over wire. Gets his first point. It means all 6 Dublin forwards have now scored in this semi-final, and the sides are level for the 11th time.
And their 2 midfielders, Marty. Paul Ryan hasn't scored from play, 2 frees and a 65, but good, lovely reaction there by Ryan O'Dwyer, because you'd expect Paul Ryan to have put that over the bar, and good concentration by Ryan O'Dwyer there.
Puck out again is aimed at Liam Rush or good Patrick Cronin, if you're looking from a Cork perspective. Ball comes free. Dublin man is fouled, and this is going to be taken by Joey Boland between his own 45 and 65. Scored once in the first half. Swirling breeze slightly favouring Dublin in this second half. Sends it out towards the wing, towards Ryan O'Dwyer. Trying to get inside the cover with Joyce. O'Dwyer succeeds. There's another Cork man waiting for him. That's Conor O'Sullivan, and he goes all the way back. I don't think Shane Durkin was expecting that. Little flick back is now required. There's Michael Carrigan. Seamus Harnedy is there, and Harnedy almost won the battle. He didn't quite. Alan Kelly from Galway, the linesman, indicates that it's a Dublin ball. Going to be taken by Johnny McCaffrey. Dublin midfielders scored twice in the first half, 1 point each. Cork midfielders scored 4 points between, 3 for Lorcan McLaughlin. That's Stephen McDonald that lays the ball off. Finds Daniel Carney. This is Seamus Harnedy, and this is going across the face of the goalpost and wide.
Yeah, Cork just seemed to have maybe lost their concentration just a little bit. The second half was only on 3 minutes, but it took Luke O'Farrell a long time to get back inside, and there seems to be maybe only 2 men. Par Cronin has gone in there and Luke O'Farrell's in there now, but Pat Horgan has come out the field, and obviously a slight change of tactics. They must be going with more men out, 4 men out around the half-forward line now.
Puck out from Gary Maguire. Almost a great catch by David Tracy. He's the goal scorer from the first half. He's well surrounded. Referee felt he was taking too many steps. Ryan will protest. Referee will make the decision. It's a free for Cork.
Yeah, he fought very hard to win the ball. You have to have simply, players are so fit now, there's no room, but he didn't seem to take too many steps there, maybe 3 or 4, trying to make room for himself, and I'd like to see the player given a little bit of benefit of the doubt in those situations, because there is so little room, and as I said, the fitness levels are so high. Just give a lad a split second to try to keep the ball in play.
Anthony Nash going for his 3rd point of the championship and his first in this semi-final. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, well, he's a fantastic striker of the ball, and you know, for Cork to lose someone like Donald Cusack, who'd been such a great goalkeeper for 15 years, and bring in a guy like this who waited so long for his chance, and you know, to be the All-Star goalie last year, like, they're so lucky to have someone that showed such patience really to stay in there. A lot of other lads would have packed it in.
Puck out from Gary Maguire. Conal Keeney gets his fingertips to it. Picked up here by Ryan O'Dwyer. 2 Cork players around him. One of them is Lorcan McLaughlin. Gives it to Denny Sutcliffe. Nice ball control. Flicks it out. Ferris. Shane Durkin. Can he score from there? Should I ask? In this exhilarating All-Ireland semi-final. That's over the bar. And the sides are level for the 12th occasion.
Yeah, and a good patient build up there. Ryan O'Dwyer, again, Danny Sutcliffe involved, lovely flick off the hurl, and Shane Durkin, you know, again a long serving Dublin player and great striker of the ball always, whether it be wing back or midfield, and he's at midfield now, and he's made a big difference since he's come on.
Liam Rush has to go back to gather this. Flicks it for us, Peter Kelly, taking on the challenge of the Cork lads. Good stick work by Kelly. This is Joey Boland. Diagonal ball over towards Paul Ryan. Good covering by Conor O'Sullivan. What a championship this young fella has had from Sarsfields. Flicks it forward for his Tom Kenny. Into the centre to Lorcan McLaughlin. Lovely stick work. Good passing by Cork. Patrick Cronin to Patrick Horgan. Dropping a little bit short. Balanced on the hurl by Gary Maguire. All-Star goalkeeper for Dublin 2011. Anthony Nash, All-Star goalkeeper 2012. Sideline ball, as Alan Kelly demonstrates, is going to Cork, and Tom Kenny comes across to take it. 32 years of age since the 16th of July. Had a wonderful midfield partnership with the legendary Jerry O'Connor, but he'll be disappointed with that sideline cut. Advantage Dublin. 1 man up for Dublin is Dotsy. Ball breaks free. Is that a free? Referee says not quite. I have my doubts about that one. Daniel Carney steps away from the challenge, lays it off for his Patrick Cronin. There's a chance here for Cork to score. He steadies, he shoots, and that is left and wide. No need for Hawkeye.
Oh, that was wide. We'll have to have a look at this one here. There's Shane O'Neill now, and Dotsy under the high ball. You know, it's hard to know. Shane O'Neill seemed to be gone back looking for the ball, and maybe, you know, Dotsy maybe pulling him just as much. I think that, you know, to call it fair, I think it was a 50-50 there. I don't think there was much in it.
You could argue that Dotsy was actually holding on to his Shane's hurling.
Great catch by Conal Keeney.
What a catch! Dead right, Michael. Conal Keeney, Danny Sutcliffe. It's a hat-trick of points on this young, magnificent hurler from St. Jude's in the capital city of our country. But what about this by Keeney? 5 Leinster Football Championship medals. Leinster hurling, he is a creator with Sutcliffe, the finisher.
Well, that's a brilliant score, score of the match. That's what Keeney's been doing all summer, and Sutcliffe, as he's able, he's a young lieutenant, and there's Pat Cronin lost his hurl there, but a brilliant score there by Dublin. And what a second half again, is picked up where it left off.
Daniel Carney, backfires William Egan. Great block down, he has to flick it back. Under pressure, Christopher Joyce sends it down the middle. Coming forward is Johnny McCaffrey. Goes for the long ball, Dotsy goes up for it. Coming forward, however, is Shane O'Neill. A rock of a defender. We used to have the rock, as I think of it. We have a new one. His name is Shane O'Neill. But the ball comes loose. Ball comes into Ryan on the wire. There's a goal opportunity here. Hits it all. What a save! What a magnificent save by Anthony Nash. And the ball comes free. Farris William Egan gives it long, very long. Patrick Horgan, 60,092, can't take their eyes off this semi-final. What a crowd, what an atmosphere, what a game. Blocked in this occasion. Here comes Peter Kelly, flicks it across. Farris Joey Boland hits the ball before Patrick Cronin can put in the challenge. Tom Kenny loses in the sunshine. It comes to Ryan on the wire, bursting forward. The referee has blown his whistle, I think. I can hardly hear him. He's indicating that it is a free, and there's a chance for Dublin. With this free.
Well, Marty, just get the feeling in the last minute or two there that Dublin getting on top around the field. Ryan O'Dwyer, a great ball by David Tracy, and Ryan O'Dwyer straight down. He should have kept it low here. Lovely height, straight at the goalie. Good save, but really should have been low and into the corner. But just after the ball brought back up the field, Peter Kelly won it down there. Luke O'Farrell took a bad option, and you just get that feeling that Dublin are beginning to get on top in a number of positions there in the last minute or two.
Ryan O'Dwyer getting a little bit of medical attention and some ice. I could tell you that Cork may well be consider introducing Stephen White from forward as we have a look at that free being taken and sent over the bar by Paul Ryan for his fourth point of the game. So Stephen White is coming on for Tom Kenny. So change in the Cork half-back line. Puck out, knocked away. Coming forward in McLaughlin. He's already scored 3. Hooked in this occasion by Liam Rush. Still McLaughlin. Referees blows his whistle. Dublin fans protest. They feel that Liam Rush didn't foul. Question is, did he, Michael Dykman?
No, I think he was going for the ball. All eyes were on the ball. Great hook first of all by Liam Rush. Maybe it was there. They just saw a little nudge after, but it was harsh enough. And we didn't see frees like that in the first half.
Patrick Horgan, scorer of 4 points in this semi-final. Wisely gets his 5th. Just 1 point between the teams again. Jimmy Barry Murphy with Dr. Con Murphy. Quick puck out this time from Gary Maguire. Farris Liam Rush gives it long. Conal Keaney, what a catch! Can he finish? Oh, fantastic hurling by Conal Keaney. What a player! He had to work so hard here, make the space and then shoot the point.
Yeah, Martin, he started his run actually over on the other wing here. He travelled 40-50 yards to take that puck out of the air. Great catch. Danny Sutcliffe has gone way out the field in this second half, and he's creating loads of space inside two-man full forward line.
Stephen White sends it along the surface towards Lorcan McLaughlin, picked up, snatched by Johnny McCaffrey. Says, I'll take that, thank you very much. And it is, at the end of it all, a sideline ball for Cork.
Yeah, and the Dublin crowd reacting. Johnny McCaffrey definitely fouled, and James Owens trying to let the game flow, give him the advantage, but then he was hooked and the ball goes over the line. And that's the disadvantage sometimes of letting it flow, and sometimes the ref can't win, I suppose, at times.
Stephen White with the sideline cut. It's a good one. Battered away by Joey Boland, but only into the path of Lorcan McLaughlin. He turns. It's a high dropping ball. The umpire is perfectly positioned, and it's wide. And by the way, Cork have shot 7 wides to Dublin 6. And we've had 116 for Dublin and 17 points for Cork. And thanks be to God, there's only 11 minutes gone into the second half. More thrilling hurling coming your way here live on the Sunday game. William Egan takes too much out of it. It's a free for Dublin.
He was out there, Marty. He was getting in trouble. He threw the ball ahead of himself. You see that going on now and again, and the ref very sharp there, picked it up, and it definitely is a free.
Ryan O'Dwyer again requiring some attention.
You just watch here, Marty. He just throws the ball into space there to make room for himself. He can't do that.
And if you're enjoying this match, let me tell you, tonight on the Sunday game, you can't afford to miss it. With Des Cowell, my colleague, 9:30 RTÉ2. Paul Ryan going to take this free. That line you see on your screen, here's a better snapshot, is the Cork 65. It's tailing to the left and wide. For Dublin's 7 wide. Both counties now have shot 7 wides. Anthony Daly with the stopwatch. All-Ireland winning captain for the Banner County, 1995 and 97. Will he guide this team to a historic All-Ireland final? Jimmy Barry Murphy, 6 times All-Ireland medalist. Ball is put down. It comes to Seamus Harnedy, making a little bit of room. Sends it forward to Lachlan McLaughlin. Runs on for his Luke O'Farrell. Pulls the brakes. Turns. Now comes the shot. And that is looking brilliant. Luke O'Farrell. 2 points, Luke O'Farrell. 5 points, Patrick Horgan. 3 points, Conor Lahan. That's the Cork full forward line.
Absolutely, Marty. But I'm just looking here what's happening in the second half. It looks like Dublin are playing with 7 backs. Niall Corcoran is free. Johnny McCaffrey has dropped right back. Now he's pushed up a little bit up the field, but it's unbelievable what's going on here. Both teams looking for this little tactical edge, and whoever's going to get it. Now, if you look down here now, Niall Corcoran completely free in the full forward line. Danny Sutcliffe is coming way out the field as well, playing as a midfielder, and this is what Dublin have done before. But it would seem it's working for them. They're keeping tight in the game, and they were obviously concerned about the room that the Cork forwards were getting.
Drama developing in Croke Park. It's a second yellow card for Ryan O'Dwyer. He is so incensed, but Dublin are down to 14 players.
Yeah, it's that. You can see him, the hands up in the air straight away, but he ran into the front. The frontal charge is a yellow card. I think it looks very harsh. The other yellow card in, Marty, you might remember, it was for something similar, slightly late, probably not overly malicious, and he got a yellow card for that. And there we see it. This is maybe the 3rd controversial red card we've had this summer.
So Ryan O'Dwyer has gone off. Lachlan McLaughlin is the one that needs some medical attention from Dr. Con Murphy. Ryan is devastated, as you can see. And Anthony Daly, you saw a moment ago speaking to his fellow selectors. Ryan O'Dwyer is obviously explaining what happened.
Well, this is involving Cork. Here's Anthony Nash now again with a long range free.
Nash puts it over the bar for his 2nd point in this semi-final. And incredibly, for the 13th time in this All-Ireland semi-final, the sides are level. But has the pendulum, the advantage, swung in Cork's way now that they have numerical advantage on the field?
Well, it remains to be seen, Marty, but I'd hate to see a game of this nature being decided by sending off. We'll have to get a chance, obviously, the lads tonight will have a better look at it. We just saw there, probably there were 2 frontal charges, neither of them very, very serious, but that's the rule, the rule of yellow card. A bit like Henry Shefflin, a little tip, and then the second one was a high tackle and he got the line, and we had Pat Horgan against Limerick sent off on a very harsh red card, which has been rescinded since. So
Mark Schutte is coming on to the Dublin attack, and the player that's going off is David Tracy, who scored 1-1 today. So a change in the Dublin attack. Dublin having to play the last 20 minutes with only 14 players, as Paul Ryan sends that to the right and wide.
Yeah, Marty, that's 2 frees now in a row. Paul Ryan normally tapped them over, and they're crucial misses. It's Joey Boland was taking the frees against Wexford. Paul Ryan hadn't been starting at that stage, and he really has to steady now, because any chance to get when they're a man down, they'll have to be putting it over the bar.
Puck out from Anthony Nash. Niall Corcoran is waiting for the breaking ball. Patrick Horgan gets a hurl to it. Ball is sent in again, and that has a point written all over it. Jamie Collin with a fantastic score from way out the field.
Absolutely brilliant score, Martin. Pat Horgan there, he's at centre forward, a little flick with his boot there. It was as closing in, a little flick out and a great score.
Ball comes down towards Danny Sutcliffe. Coming in to challenge is Stephen White. Sutcliffe trying to make a little bit of space. Linesman indicates it's a Cork ball. For a little while, one felt that Dublin were getting the initiative, but in the last 5 minutes, you have to say it's advantage Cork.
Well, what's happened, Marty? Paul Ryan missed 2 frees that he normally score. Anthony Nash scored 2 long-range frees and then descending off. And, you know, as I say, I hope it's not the deciding factor of this game, but it's going to obviously have a big input now with Cork having the extra defender.
Niall Corcoran got a touch, but it's Liam Rush that bursts forward. Wonderful play by the centre half back. Goes for distance. Remember, Cork have an extra man now, and it's quite evident. Conor O'Sullivan to Daniel Carney, giving it into the centre to William Egan, flicking it forward for his Lorcan McLaughlin. Harnedy tries to control it. Dublin backs. Dacio O'Callaghan, look where he is. Comes to for his Joey Boland. O'Callaghan is almost playing as a left half back at the moment. Paul Ryan tries to flick it forward. Comes back out towards right corner back Stephen McDonald. Referee says no foul given. Mark Schutte is the Dublin player. Paul Ryan tries to get it inside to him. Back there helping out is Jamie Collin. Down towards Luke O'Farrell. Niall Corcoran battling hard with Patrick Horgan, former Aircourt Galway minor, now playing with Dublin since 2008. Gives it for his Danny Sutcliffe. Thumps it into the space. Chasing after this is Mark Schutte. Trying to gather it, does succeed. It's Danny Sutcliffe, in fact. Sutcliffe from in front of the Hogan stand. That is brilliant play by Danny Sutcliffe. It's his 4th point of the game. And Dublin haven't gone home.
Oh, that's an unbelievable score. Just watch this for a turn here, right out in the sideline. Danny Sutcliffe is putting in an unbelievable performance here. You know, the last passage of play, Cork they were kind of trying to waltz down the field with a whole lot of short passes, and Dublin intercepted, and Jimmy Barry was going mad on the sideline, and a great score as you see there again from Sutcliffe.
54 and a half minutes played. Its teams have been level 14 times. The referee has given a free to Cork. Doesn't agree. Let's see what happened here as Kelly and Cronin went for the ball. Was that a foul?
Minimal enough contact there. Cronin was out in front. He got the benefit of the doubt from the ref, but I think the Dublin supporters over the last few minutes, Stephen McDonald was definitely fouling over in the far wing there a few minutes ago. Got down on top of I think it was David Tracy going for a ball there. Dacio O'Callaghan out around the middle of the field, Marty, as a third midfielder. You wouldn't think that he'd be the best suited to that. But he's on the go a long time. He's in his 30s. A lot of running out there, trying to cover that ground. But he's a very intelligent hurler, trying to obviously hope he'll pick up a few balls and play them into space.
Patrick Horgan has scored his 6th point of the game. Jimmy Barry Murphy quite animated along the sideline. Still time, just 1 point between the teams. Lorcan McLaughlin beaten on this occasion by Dotsy O'Callaghan. Lorcan McLaughlin comes in to challenge. Dotsy, difficult angle. Was a bit optimistic from there, to be honest with you. He needed to recycle it a bit. He had support behind him. Obviously didn't hear the call. Anthony Daly with Richard Stakelum right beside him. Dublin management team trying to come up with something. So too is Shane Martin and Kieran Heatherton. Puck out, dropping down into Dublin territory. Peter Kelly is underneath it. And Paul Schutte under a bit of pressure. Patrick Horgan is there trying to dig it out. Arriving in is Liam Rush. And that's going to be a throw ball surely on the 20-metre line. As the referee, James Owens, throws the ball in. Liam Rush coming away with it, but he pulled back on Patrick Horgan in trying to extract himself with the hurley, but he did pull back, and it will be interesting now to see what the referee James Owens is going to do here.
Yeah, well, it's you watch Liam Rush, just a bit frustrated here, and what swings back, and that's a red card. Much more than that's a red card. It's striking or attempt to strike. That's the rule. It'll be interesting to see now with a man gone already. It's a tough one for James Owens.
Now, will it be a yellow or will it be a red? It could easily be a red, and I think James Owens is saying, lucky man, perhaps, let's not preempt it. What colour is it? It's a yellow. Lucky Liam Rush.
Well, Marty, I got away with a worse one probably against Clare in '98, as all the Clare people remind, but I should have got a red that day, and that should have been a red card as well. He pulled across him, and because the man was sent off already, and James Owens will be criticised for that by Pat McEnany and the referees afterwards. The other red might have been harsh, but that doesn't mean that shouldn't have been a red.
And it's Rush that comes away with it, trying to inspire his teammates. They've come to terms, perhaps, with the loss of Rhino Dwyer, but there's a long way to go. 13 minutes. Ball in towards Johnny McCaffrey. Out comes Larkin McLaughlin. Knocked away from him, and in turn from Patrick Cronin. Referee blows the whistle. It's a free for Dublin again. The Leinster champions are giving every last drop of blood to try and get to the All-Ireland final for the first time since 1961.
Yeah, Park Cronin holding back Johnny McCaffrey. But Marty, I can't believe the Cork tactics. They're playing with 6 defenders against 4 Dublin forwards. Niall Corcoran is still loose down the other end of the field. You'd imagine they'll push up, have one loose defender and put the pressure on the Cork forward line. They're playing, Dublin still have a spare back there, even though they're only playing with 14 men, and this is suiting Dublin, it's keeping them in the game.
Paul Ryan just about getting there. It's over the bar. He's missed the last few, but he gets a 7-point of the game.
Yeah, you'd have to say great heart by Dublin over the last few minutes.
It's Dublin 118, Cork 21 points, and I don't think I've ever been involved in a game where the sides were level 15 times. But that's exactly what has happened in this All-Ireland semi-final. 9 minutes ago, Rhino Dwyer was sent off for a second yellow. Liam Rush desperately lucky to stay on the pitch for a bit of a wild pull, and Patrick Horgan. Cork, as Michael Duignan rightly pointed out, playing very defensively. Pass for Stephen McDonald didn't quite work out. Mark Schutte trying to put the pressure on the Glen Rovers man. Hand passes into the centre. Cork work themselves out of trouble. William Egan goes for distance. Underneath this, Niall Corcoran coming forward, batted away. Coming forward is Liam Rush in a little bit of space. Sending it along in front of a Hogan. To Shane Durkin, getting by the challenge of Daniel Parr. Giving it to Conal Keeney. Dropping this one in. Trying to get a connection, just a little connection, was Mark Schutte, but instead it comes to Cork and they deliver it long. Niall Corcoran underneath it. Ball comes, however, to Patrick Horgan, who turns, shoots and scores. His 8th point of the match. 11 against Kilkenny, 8 against Cork, and Cork lead again by 1. 22 points to 118.
Yeah, Niall Corcoran dropped that out of his hand under no pressure, but you'd have to say another great score by Horgan, just half a yard and quick turn over his shoulder. But I'm actually amazed by what Cork are doing there. Why they don't just push up a man on Niall Corcoran? They still have an extra man at the back.
Dotsy O'Callaghan has gone off. Eamon Dillon is on. It's Conal Keeney with possession. Under pressure, gives it far as Liam Rush, looking for somebody available. Paul Ryan has come out to the half-forward line, controls it well, gets away at this occasion from Shane O'Neill, pulls the brakes, turns right. What can he do from here? The referee has acknowledged what he's given. He's indicating that he handled the ball 3 times, and as a result,
if you watch it, he didn't actually catch it, he just bounced it again in his hand, but he did play it 3 times and just took the referee a minute to call it. If James Owens had a quiet first half, he's certainly not having a quiet second half. He's in the middle of everything, and there's going to be a lot of controversy, over a couple of these decisions after the game. I can't believe it's only 10 minutes to go. This is after flying by. It's still some game. If you just watch here.
Just watch this again, Michael.
That's one. Catches second, and now he turns back inside. He throws it up, goes to catch it, and that's a free 3 times.
Free from Anthony Nash. Where is it going? Between the posts. Vital decision by the referee. Probably a correct one, but the game again swings towards Cork. There's a bit of a melee down here. Danny Sutcliffe is involved, and so too is Stephen White.
But that's a crucial, piece of armoury for Cork to have. Like, you know, we see Stephen Truxton, how important he's been with his free taking for Dublin footballers, but Anthony Nash to score 3 points in a tight game like this is huge for a goalkeeper to be able to come out and do that.
And Danny Sutcliffe discuss the rights and wrongs of their particular shamazel. Ultimately, it's James Owens from Wexford who's going to decide. My guess this is just going to be a yellow card for both. And that's what it is. Both players get yellow. 2 points between the teams. 7.5 minutes left in Croke Park. 14-man Dublin facing Cork on a roll now. Jamie Collin. Effort is half blocked. Mark Schutte has to try and get there ahead of Lorcan McLaughlin. McLaughlin pulls it, gets a little bit of ground. Paul Schutte is there. Paris Liam Rush. Leadership now required. Paul Ryan underneath it. He loses his hurl, but he has the ball. And the referee doesn't give him the advantage, but he does blow his whistle and gives a free to Dublin. And at this stage, I think they'll gratefully accept it.
Yeah, it was Conall Keaney, a brilliant catch again with his right hand. He swapped hands. Cork players giving out, he dropped the hurl, but you know, brilliant catch. And Cork now have gone orthodox, Marty. They have moved up an extra forward, so they're gone with 6 forwards again. And this should be an easy one for Paul Ryan, just to put a point between them again.
And that's the second time Conall Keaney has caught some wonderful ball as Paul Ryan takes the point.
And Marty, you'd have to really admire the response of Dublin. You know, a man sent off, they went a couple of points down, but their heart and work rate is unbelievable, and this game is going to go right down to the wire.
Carl Naughton is on, Jamie Collin is off. 1 point between the teams.
And Carl Naughton has gone right into the full forward line, nobody to mark him. Cork now are playing with an extra attacker as we stand. Dublin have to readjust here quickly.
Jamie Collin is the one that's making way. He's done his bit to try and guide his county to the All-Ireland final. Anthony Nash takes the puck out. Up goes Seamus Harnedy. Patrick Cronin. No free given. It was a hefty challenge on Cronin. Ball comes out for his Lorcan McLaughlin, going for his 4th point. It's tailing to the left and wide. Jimmy Barry Murphy. Nerve-tingling affair. Gary Maguire. No goal conceded in this semi-final. Comes out to Stephen McDonald. Daniel Carney gets it back by his William Egan. Gets it deep into Dublin territory. Great catch by Luke O'Farrell. With him is Paul Schutte. Diagonal ball across the face of the goal. Nobody there for Cork immediately available. Good play by Peter Kelly. First Johnny McCaffrey going for distance. Easily cut out on this occasion. Comes first Patrick Cronin. Cronin about to be challenged by Joey Boland. Cronin drops it in. Luke O'Farrell is underneath it. Gary Maguire comes off his goal line. But it's a goal for Cork. Patrick Horgan gets the goal. Gary Maguire came out to gather it, and literally it was snatched off his hurl by the Glen Rovers man.
Yeah, just a little bit loose, and you know, Pat Horgan following in brilliantly. I was just watching the replay, I didn't see what happened there. Marty, Peter Kelly gone down injured, but I thought Pat Cronin took the wrong option completely. Colin Naughton was loose down the wing, played a high ball in, and you know, Cork, I said it at half time, Cork haven't scored a goal in their last 5 championship matches, and that goal, you know, probably be the deciding factor now at this stage.
Seamus Harnedy has given a yellow card. It has been given a yellow card. Much more difficult for Dublin, but they have 4 minutes. Can they recover? Can they retrieve the situation? Lorcan McLaughlin, Forrest Stephen McDonald goes for distance, down towards Patrick Horgan, knocked away from him. Peter Kelly foul. Referee says play on. Coming away with it is Conor Lahan. Uses the short grip, sends it across towards Luke O'Farrell. Ball is wide. Dear oh dear. 66 minutes and 47 seconds gone. 22 points to 26. This is Shane Durkin. Still Durkin. Daniel Carney chasing after. Paul Ryan Dublin try and engineer something special out of this. This is Eamon Dillon. Good defending by Conor O'Sullivan. Manages to get it out. Paul Ryan intercepts. Daniel Carney is there again. Into the centre to William Egan. Gets it down towards Patrick Cronin, the captain. Joey Boland is fouled. Free in for Dublin.
Marty, I can't just get over the pace of this game. It's never dropped for a second. We're in the 68th minute, and the tackling and the work rate and the commitment of both sets of players is unbelievable. And this will get it back to a goal. This is vital. You know, once you keep within 3 points to have a chance.
Paul Ryan. A vital free. He's missed a few, but he scored 5. This to reduce Cork's lead to 3. Floating it in, and it's gone wide. Is that it? Or Cork booking their tickets for September? This is the goal again.
Yeah, just watch Gary. We're just a little bit loose there, but you have to credit Pat Horgan. He came from a long way out, followed the ball in, and he finished it. But Paul Ryan, you could see his body language there, Marty. He wasn't comfortable, and that's 3 frees in the second half that he's missed. And you know, if he'd scored him, there'd only be a point in it. Now you can't afford it at this level, unfortunately.
And funny enough, despite those frees missed, no change in free taking by Dublin either.
Yeah, well, he's got 1 or 2 in between, but you know, Joey Boland was very, very good early in the year against Wexford on them, but that's, you know, it's going to be the difference, I'd say, at this stage.
Danny Sutcliffe drives it long. Ball is available for Dublin. They have to go for goal. Referee blows the whistle for the foul on Mark Schutte. Anthony Nash calls the troops in along the goal line. Schutte did well here. Fouled just outside the 20-metre line. Dublin really have no option here but to go for goal. 26 points to 22, 123 to 119. What an incredible game.
Well, the thing is, Marty, they need 2 scores, but Paul Ryan has a rocket of a shot. I think he will go for the goal, but you know, maybe he should tap it over and hope to get a goal in the next play.
Paul Ryan being told by Kieran Heatherton what to do. 6 Corkmen on the goal line. He drives it in. Stopped by Nash. Taken away by guess who? Cathal Naughton. He was pulled forward about 2 minutes ago. Away goes the road runner from Newtown Shandrum. Alan Kelly indicates it's a sideline ball for Dublin. 13 seconds left. Our Cork in the All-Ireland hurling final. William Egan drives it long. They may have lost the Munster hurling final, but for the first time since 2006 it looks like it's going to be the Rebels. Shane Durkin just missing it. Comes instead to Paul Schutte. Paul Schutte gives it up towards Paul Ryan, knocked away on this occasion by Shane O'Neill, steadying the ship. Paul Schutte has a cramp, but Alan O'Neill delivers it long. Down fires Gary Maguire. Over fires Danny Sutcliffe. We're now into injury time, and the ball dribbles out over the sideline. Nothing going right for the moment for Dublin, and the clock is very much against them.
Yeah, well, a player who'd had such a game, Danny Sutcliffe, unfortunate. What a game we've had. Here's Paul Ryan now. Anthony Nash out in front. And Cathal Naughton is shaped back there. One time he'd run away from everyone, but lads well able to stay with him nowadays. He's getting a bit older and they're getting a bit quicker.
Deep into injury time. About a minute left. Stephen White takes the sideline cut, comes straight for his Joey Boland. Up towards Mark Schutte. Coming out is Conal Keeney. Gathering it, however, is Christopher Joyce. Patrick Cronin. Selected at left half forward, but playing right half back at the moment. Comes down towards corner forward, Stephen Moylan. And that is going between the posts. Jimmy Barry Murphy's magic has once again sprinkled across the Cork hurling terrain, and the fans are absolutely ecstatic. What a journey. Dublin introduced Rory Traynor as Dublin throw everything. The sending off of Ryan O'Dwyer after 50 minutes crucial. The goal by Patrick Horgan, a vital component. And yet David Tracy's goal in the first half was the first time that Cork conceded a goal in this summer championship. All-Ireland semi-final is over. Cork are on their way back here on the first Sunday in November. Dublin, the Leinster champions, have been beaten. A match that saw these counties level 15 times. Heartbreak for Dublin. Heartbreak for the Leinster champions. But they have already made history. For Cork, they love their hurling. And today, they produced one of the most exciting, exhilarating performances that we've ever seen. Rhino Dwyer disgusted, heartbroken, devastated. So too is Danny Sutcliffe. But what has Jimmy Barry Murphy got? He guided them in the past. He came back. He built a young team. Players like Seamus Harnedy we'd never heard of before. He has produced a winning team. They may have lost the Munster final. Of course, they lost Patrick Horgan in a controversial sending off. But it's Cork in the All-Ireland final. Who will they play will be decided next Sunday when Clare play Limerick. Full-time score in Croke Park in a breathtaking All-Ireland semi-final. Cork 124, Dublin 119. Michael Dignan, the scenes on the pitch. Cork are absolutely overjoyed, and who will blame them?
Yeah, well, look, Marty, Tom Kenny is the only player in that Cork panel that started in an All-Ireland final. I think Shane O'Neill was a sub in 2005, and Brian Murphy. But like, absolutely brilliant display. You talk about Jimmy Barry Murphy. What has he got? Well, the first thing he has, he's huge charisma. He's a great personality. But he also, you know, in his first year, he didn't panic. He stuck with the panel that was there. He brought back in Sean O'Halpine, John Gardner. They were all still there. But this year, you know, a few lads, Owen Caddingham went to football. There was a few defections, and maybe that made things easier. He could build a new team. And look at his backroom team. Gerard Cunningham, Johnny Crowley, Kieran Kingston, Shawnee McGrath, all All-Ireland medal winners. But well done to Cork, and hard luck to Dublin and to Anthony Daly.
Well, Cork might have won a minor All-Ireland since 2001, but they are in the Senior All-Ireland final on the 8th of September. Let's go down to Joanne.
And what an influence this man had in today's match. Lurcon McLaughlin, congratulations. To get to an All-Ireland final, but to do it winning a match like that, what's it like?
Unbelievable. That game was intense, you know, and we knew exactly what we were going to expect from Dublin. They're a physical, fit team, you know, outstanding hurlers, and they picked off some unbelievable scores. And I suppose obviously the sending off of the Bairn in the game, but look, we were set up for that. The same thing happened to us in the Munster final, you know, but I thought the lads were outstanding. I thought our backs, our excellency, worked hard. I thought Danny Carney in midfield was outstanding as well.
Worked hard, intense, it was just non-stop.
Yeah, I suppose the game had everything, you know, and it just goes to show the work that's been done up in Dublin. You know, they were outstanding today, and that's perfect preparation going into an All-Ireland final. But, you know, I think the harsh thing about GA is we have to do it all over again now, and we're really looking forward to an All-Ireland final.
It was levels, goodness knows how many times. When the goal went in, did you finally start to believe that was it?
I suppose you can't against Dublin. You can't really believe until the final whistle is gone, you know. But I thought we were outstanding. Like, you know, the subs that came on gave a huge effort, and look, we're just delighted to be in an All-Ireland final.
And what support you got today as well. Lurcon McLaughlin and Cork, congratulations.
Yes, thanks a million.
Well done indeed, and thanks very much to Joanne for that. Cyril Farrell, the first thing I think we have to do is pay tribute to both teams. I mean, to say that was an epic semi-final would be an understatement.
Well, as George said, you could use any superlative you like, but like the point is, like, hurling played like that is a fantastic game. Okay, the sending off, the second yellow, like, kind of probably changed the game, and Pat Horgan's goal, but it was a great game. Dublin were very disappointed. They played their hearts out. You know, they gave it everything, but just that little bit of artistry from Cork. They were able to get the scores that little bit. No, they didn't get them easy, but they were able to get the scores from outside, which they've been doing all day. And today they got the goal. Kind of that, when the goal came, I give them the break. But like, talk about a game for 70 minutes. They were saying at half time the fitness, which is, you have to come into a game like that, but the fitness levels of both teams, the skill of both teams, and like the sportsmanship of both teams. Okay, there was hard belts in it, but like, it was played the way it should be played. Like, Cork were back in the final. Dublin were very, very disappointed, but you had over 60,000 people here today, and like, if it was a draw, you'd have 80,000, because this was an epic, fantastic game of hurling, great scores. It's tough on Dublin to be a loser, but it's a great game for Cork to win.
And Sherlock Nan, it is going to be an all-Munster All-Ireland final, yes. But the question is, I know what you're thinking anyway.
Yeah, and looking at that there today, you'd see would either of the other two be up to that standard, but Estelle was saying to be off camera there, it's going to be a different game, whoever they're playing. And Limerick have beaten Cork already, so Cork will be able. It's the way Cork have improved, Michael, you know, from that Munster final. the level of aggression that they have, apart from their skill, their fantastic movement, all of the things you love in hurling, this Cork team has them. But you wondered, would they have the real gut for battle when it came to it, and how they showed that today, And I suppose the game was decided on a few turning points, apart from the sending off at all. But I think it was great that it was decided by absolute moment of genius from Patrick Horgan, because you think that was an easy goal. To do the run and to have that flick just when it was badly needed and put it away, it was just fitting. And he was also good, as we were saying there earlier on, that it was decided by a wider margin. It would be an awful game to lose that by a point, but what a game, what an advertisement for hurling. Brilliant.
We need to take a break, there's no doubt about that. We'll have full reaction and analysis after that break. But now, to take us there, there's a chance for you to win a very nice prize here on the programme, because here is our new competition.
Opel Ireland, official car partner of the GAA, are marking their 5th year of the Kit for Club scheme by offering you and a friend tickets to the All-Ireland Hurling and Football Final, along with an overnight stay in the 4-star Gresham Hotel after each game. Plus, there's 2 tickets to the Opel-sponsored All-Star Awards in November, where you will mingle with the season's celebrated stars, and €1,000 spending money too. For your chance to win, answer this. Which of these teams won the 2013 Munster Senior Hurling Championship Final? Was it Cork, Limerick or Clare? To enter, call 15 16 71 71 74 or text the word hurling followed by your answer and name to 57001. Viewers in the north can also text to 57001 or call the number on screen. You must be 18 to enter. Lines will close at midday on Friday, August 23rd. More details on RTE Airtel page 194, where the lucky winner will also be announced.
We want you to be inspired.
A lot riding on today.
The pressure
It's taken over our lives.
is mounting.
Because I'm cooking for you guys, it's got to be perfect.
How are you going to get the lobster out of the shell?
I'm going to treat it like a giant prawn.
I haven't got much time left and I want to get it on the plate in time.
Would you recommend anybody to work in a restaurant? No.
Celebrity MasterChef Ireland, tonight at 9:30 on RTE1.
Proud sponsor of Celebrity MasterChef Ireland.
At Lidl, we know that quality is all about the choices we make. So we choose only the finest produce from Bord Bia approved farms. We choose only 100% fresh Irish beef, which has been hung on the bone and matured for up to 28 days, which gives it a delicious, rich flavour and a unique buttery texture. Only then do we select the choicest cuts. Because we know that when you're making choices for your family, it pays to be a little, well, choosy. Choose our expert cuts. Choose Lidl.
The McDonald's summer menu has arrived, with the cheddar deluxe, the Mediterranean chicken and mozzarella dippers. For a limited time only. Just like the Irish summer.
Two-ply, check. We got cups?
Cups, check. We're gonna need some nachos, right?
Do you seriously think we have enough time to make nachos?
I'm sorry, I don't know what to expect.
I mean, one time I didn't shower for days, literally. We're getting deodorant. Now listen, we're looking at 6 seasons, 13 episodes, including the pilot. Now, I didn't go to math school, so I'm not gonna do the math. 78 episodes. See this guy? He watched so many French dramas that he seriously thinks he's French.
But I am French.
Netflix. Stream all you want for €7 a month. But please, watch responsibly.
The Garda mobile safety camera vans are on roads where people have died and been seriously injured.
Adidas and Adidas, the sneaker leaders for years. You can say what you wanna, but my Adidas is here. The tire flyer no higher, like 40 bins in a Jag. Accident rapper alive, the rev invented the swag. I'm in my pro models that I model like the pros. I go full throttle, I'm a lot like Terracone. White superstars with the 3 black stripes. I'm like a god when I'm rocking this mic. We rule hip hop and all of the sports. The man on the beat is A-Track, of course.
Question 3. What is Dublin?
Quick, what's the capital of Chile?
On a smartphone, okay? I got this. Don't tell me.
I won't. I don't know.
I want to say Cardiff.
That's in Wales.
Wales isn't a country. Is it?
If your smartphone doesn't come with a smart offer, it's not smart, it's thick.
Is it?
Switch to Meteor, where your €20 top-up gives you 250 megs of data a month, unlimited Meteor calls and any network texts. Smart.
Welcome back to Croke Park. Great excitement here this afternoon as Cork have qualified for the 2013 All-Ireland Hurling Final against either Limerick or Clare, and that'll be on September the 8th. Let's hear from the Cork manager, Jimmy Barry Murphy. He's talking to Joanne Cantwell.
Jimmy, we were all talking about how much we enjoyed watching that. You probably didn't enjoy watching it quite so much.
Well, I suppose when you're on the sideline and the pressure's on, you don't tend to think of the quality of the game itself, but I'm sure it's a very enjoyable game for everybody. Very exciting, and score for score. Every time we got a score, they'd get a score, and vice versa. So I suppose from that point of view, it was very, very exciting.
Speaking to Lurcan McLaughlin a little while ago, he was talking about how well everybody played, but you don't seem quite as impressed.
No, I'm delighted with the win. Obviously, Dublin are a very, very good team. But I think, maybe we didn't play as well as we'd like today, but that's a good thing going to the final. I suppose you've got to be critical of yourself and hope to improve for the next day. But I know I'm thrilled with the players. I'm not trying to play it down or anything. They were absolutely fantastic and gave us everything, and beat a very, very good team in Dublin, I think.
And the attitude they showed as well, because any time Dublin scored, they seemed to respond straight away.
Yeah, they showed great character, particularly the goal, and to come back and lead it going in at half time was a good boost to us, because the goals can rock teams. I think we got the goal then at a vital stage as well, just to give us that bit of breathing space at the end.
How much of an influence do you think, and how much of an impact did that sending off have?
There's no doubt sendings off affect games. It happened to us in the Munster final, Kilkenny the last day. I mean, it does have a major impact, because you've got an extra man, and if you use it properly and the players are intelligent enough, they can use the ball then to punish the opposition. I think, in fairness, Conor Sullivan is quite good at that role at the back, reading the play and distributing the ball very well.
Yeah, there's the key, isn't it? Having to use the extra man intelligently.
It is, yeah. I mean, you can start ballooning the ball stupidly and you mightn't get any advantage from it. But I think, of course, we just had got our nose in front as well, which was vital, and gave us that cushion. The goal gave us a great cushion, I thought, and that was the deciding factor, really.
Fitting, perhaps, that it was Patrick Horgan who was the man who got the final touch to it, given the season and the influence he has had for Cork.
Well, yeah, he's had an interesting season, to put it mildly, and he's been great for us, in fairness, and he's really showing the form now that he has been, showing for a number of years, but consistently now playing at the highest level, and doing it in Croke Park. I think he was really good today, I thought.
If you speak about attitudes, you look at it not just today, but the way this Cork team has responded throughout the season, even if you look back, the league and then the Munster final, and the way you've come to it now. Yeah,
they've shown great character, in fairness, after being relegated in the league, and then losing the Munster final was a big setback to us, as I said already. So the players have responded great and showed great character, and I think they're got a reward today for that effort.
What do you think of an all-Munster, all-Ireland final?
Yeah, it's a novelty, certainly. I was never part of one myself, because in my day that wasn't the backdoor system wasn't there, so it's going to be a fantastic final, I'm sure. Looking forward to seeing Clare and Limerick next Sunday, and just can't wait now for the final in 4 weeks' time.
Would I even get an answer if I asked you you'd fancy another crack at?
I wouldn't mind, really. We're there now, so we're happy anyway.
Well, a great performance today. Well done, Jimmy.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, and another All-Ireland final for Jimmy Barry Murphy and for Cork. Joanne spoke to him about the sending off there. There were several key moments, I guess, in this game, but there's no doubt about it that sending off, this game was like an arm wrestle. Something had to give, and this was the first big thing that gave.
Yes, and they were a point ahead at the time, you see. That was 116 to 18 points when Ryan O'Dwyer was sent off. And just after being sent off, then Nash scored the resultant free, and then Jamie Coughlin got a point afterwards. So from the point up, they were now a point down. So
this was a second yellow now that
this is the second yellow. No, I say that's the first yellow.
That's the first
yellow. Yeah, kind of a frontal charge. It's very, very similar to the Henry Shefflin case, in the quarter-final. The first one seemed a bit harsh. Second one was definitely a bookable offence.
Yeah.
I think we all agree on that. It was a yellow card. But the damage had been done with the first one, and it was up the right of the wire then to be really, really careful. But in fairness to him, he was having a massive game for Dublin. The amount of disruption he caused to that half-back line, his work rate was just fantastic. And when he left, they didn't have anybody with that kind, apart from Conall Keaney, with that kind of physical aggression against the Cork half-backs. And, there was also another tactical thing here, that Dublin played with 7 backs in the second half, right? That left a Cork back free. And then when he was sent off, they kept their 7 backs, so Cork had 2 backs free in
eventually
they changed it around.
Because they weren't getting on top.
Let's see what the Dublin manager Anthony Daly has to say about that. He's with Joanne.
Well, Anthony was here with me watching those incidents involving Ryan O'Dwyer, so we may as well get straight to that. Your thoughts?
John, look, just being in the Cork jersey there and wish them all the best. They won by 5 points, I suppose. Look, it's a crucial time in the game, and I haven't watched it again there now. The second one probably was a yellow card, Joanne, but the first one was right in front of me. I knew at the time that Ryan made contact with the corner forward, shoulder to shoulder, and it's no more. But the refs are putting themselves under pressure, throwing out these early yellows, I suppose, and then I suppose he'd no option later on. But I would have a problem with the first one being a yellow. But point ahead, Anthony Nash comes out, scores the free, levels it, But having said that, look, there's no point. Cork win the day, and you take your beating, and fair play. They showed a bit of coolness there. We had a few chances, all right. We missed a few frees and little things. That's the way it goes. It's a pity. I don't want to put it down to a refereeing decision. That's not good sportsmanship, I suppose. But look, I think throwing out yellow cards after a minute, for shoulder charges. God, don't know. But anyway, look. We're beaten. We've had a great year, John. I'm very proud of the boys. And again today, died with their boots on. Really, just absolutely gave everything. Liam Rush down there, blood spattered, and just charging up the field with ball. But we made a few basic errors. We probably played the game on Cork's terms. I felt a bit in the first half. We didn't go to the play as much as we said we would, and kind of regrouped at half time and said we would. And I felt, we were getting on top, went 2 ahead, and chance to go 3 ahead, and chance of a goal, maybe. And Anthony Nash made a good save. The whats and ifs and buts and maybes, I suppose. Look, I have to see it again really to know.
I wonder, given that he did pick up the early yellow card, even though he was having a big influence, would you have been tempted to take Ryan O'Dwyer off?
Well, sure, it's one of those things, straight away, as soon as it happens, you'd say keep an eye on it. But I think he was hurling such a tremendous game for us. You couldn't take him out of the play. He was everywhere. He was getting in hooks and blocks when he'd no right to, and it would have been a mad move on our point. But sure, look, then if you said you did, you'd be maybe finishing with 15 and maybe you'd have driven on. I don't know, ifs and buts and maybes again, Joanne. It's as easy hindsight as everything.
Yet you seem to hang in there until that goal. You hung in for an awful long time playing a man down.
Yeah, and we had that ball, we had possession of that ball, and we had Connell put into the edge of the square at that stage, and maybe a long delivery just into the edge of the square, and we were only a point down, and I think was it Pat Horgan got it. I'm not sure which of them got it. He just got a flick on it. It was a great poacher's goal, to be fair. Gary came out, did everything right probably, I suppose, and just got a flick on it. It was a real Cork corner forward's goal. But again, ifs and buts. And at the end of the day, there has to be a winner and there has to be a loser, and we wish Cork the best. Obviously, if it was Clare in the final, I'll be shouting madly for Clare, obviously. But we wish them the best of luck anyway. And all teams fair play from now on.
Ifs, buts and maybes. If you look at the frees that you got in the second half, and poor Paul Ryan didn't have the greatest end to his free taking.
Yeah, but Reiner has scored frees for us days when we needed a free to level up matches over the last few years. He's been tremendous. Not by his own standards, that wouldn't be a great display by him, but look, he came in today to do his very best for every free, and just sometimes you don't have a going day, Just they didn't float over today. I suppose there was one to put us 3 ahead, and we had 15 players, and again, it's just one of those things that you'll have to have a look at the video and sit down and just see. But I think it was that kind of a game that, and we said it at half time, it was that kind of a game that the unexpected was going to decide it, and certainly we got a bit of the unexpected in the second half.
That's for sure. I know you took an awful long time to make a decision and think about your future this time last year, and you were delighted. You definitely did. You ended up with the Leinster title. Are you going to take some time? Would you consider staying on for another year?
Well, Joanne, I don't know about last year, but I tell you, every single year I have been asked this question when the year is finished, and I've said nothing, because you don't make decisions in sad dressing rooms, and that's what's down there at the minute, is a broken dressing room, and that's not the time to make a decision with anyone. We look at it may not be my decision. So, like, look, we wait and see and wait up, and I don't believe there's any particular rush. You know, there'll be lads mad to take over that Dublin team at the minute, I'd say.
Yeah, Leinster champion, so well done and a great year, and hard luck today.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Anthony Daly has taken Dublin on an epic journey, not just this year, but in fact over the last 5 years. He said there, Ger, that he felt that Dublin played it on Cork's terms in the first half. We spoke about that a little bit.
Well, we did, yeah, we spoke about half. But before the game, Cyril said that, you know, Cork would try to create space, hit the ball into space and get runners running onto the ball, and that's really what happened in the first half, because Dublin accommodated back to that, to the surprise of us all, by playing in the traditional manner, which are three full backs, three half backs, all the way conventional up along. Now at half time we were saying the game is far too open, they'll have to do something, and they did. You know, they went back to the way they had played in all their matches so far, with a sweeper, in effect a sweeper in behind the half back line, and they were keeping it really, really tight. But of course that depends on having 15 against 15. The problem with that is when you go down a man, the whole system then comes under pressure, and really that's what happened. If they had, that's why the loss at Ryan of the Wire will haunt them, because it was working so well up to that, and they were closing Cork down so well and keeping the score down much better than the first half, but the sending off got rid of all that.
But Jim Barry Murphy referred to it. You'd often have a team with 15 men against 14 and the 15 wouldn't win.
Sure.
Now Conor O'Sullivan did the same to Leicester, but Cork have good hurlers. They're capable of pinning the ball to another, of using the 15 men, because it's no point in having them. And for a long time Cork had 2 extra backs back because we're still a man short. Dublin had 7 up front, Cork was short of forward up front. Eventually got six up there, and Dublin was short the man. But like as big a thing, Michael, in the game was like Anthony Nash. Like he's turning out to be something else. Like okay, he's replaced a great player, but he's a brilliant goalkeeper. But like this long freeze, like the long freeze, they're a long way out, and they're nailing the coffin on the other team. Especially like Paul Ryan did kind of an off day. You know, Pat Horgan, who's a great free taker up front, yet Nash comes for the long ones, and most of them he's nailing. We got 3 points again from play today. Like, and he's kind of he's the silent assassin, because he's a very big influence on
Stephen
the game.
Cluxton of Burnley.
You know.
Well, Cork couldn't decide who their goalkeeper was going to be after Donal Cusick, and then he won an All-Star. Today he played a very important part in that win from one point of view, Ger. We saw Paul Ryan foul the ball, what would have been a point for Dublin. It was free to Cork. Nash taps it over the bar.
Correct. I thought that was a real turning point.
It was a free because he caught it 3 times.
Oh, it was a free, yeah. But again, there was only a point in it at the stage. He had the ball put over the bar. The referee was perfectly correct.